But
now we're here.
Why don't I see all of the games that we played on the 24-hour stream listed under everybody?
You know, it's a real mystery.
Oh, you know what? I haven't even started recording yet.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
there we go.
What are you doing?
What
Where's
are
all the
you
good
doing?
stuff?
Secret bonus mini
Who's
free
got
podcast.
my crap highlighted right now?
Oh, it's me. Sorry, that was me.
Good job. Good
you
job.
I've written nothing.
You can see highlights and docs, but not sheets.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
What is this?
That is
I don't know.
weird.
There's some weird differences between docs and sheets. You also can't. There's not even really great group word formatting in sheets, which I hate. I always want to be like, no, put this into freaking title case or cap or whatever it's called. Title case, capitalize every word. I guess. I don't know. Whatever.
Pascal case, camel case.
Yeah, camel case. I love camel case. This is good stuff. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Forecast episode 140, I think. The Forecast is a bi-weekly podcast produced, streamed, and sometimes released on Thursdays. We're a community of people who love exploring and discussing all kinds of things, from video games and board games to film and TV to our everyday life experiences. If you'd like to know more about what we do, you can follow us at facebook.com/TheHorizonFB, or you can come hang out in our Discord channel, or you can check out our website, wearethehorizon.com, or you can stop by our Extra Life page where the donation spot is still open, so please feel free to do that. We also have a ton of original content for you to browse through on our website. Additionally, everything we talk about is pushed into our cast notes, which is pushed out to whatever podcasting app you are using. I am Aaron, joined by a couple additional peeps. Alex?
That was a long intro.
That's
But it
how
was great.
it's literally the same length every time. I just added a small bit about Extra Life.
It's so
Get outta here.
long.
Oh my gosh. Caleb?
That's me.
Chad?
Did anybody ask about the video link for us?
Don't know. Maybe. Jake?
Oh shit, what up?
No one.
Hello, guys, gals, and non-binary pals.
Let's start off with a huge thank you, actually, this week. We just wrapped up our Extra Life 24-hour stream on Saturday. It was freaking awesome. We raised, as of today, $8,110, freaking smashing
Oh,
our
wow.
record from last year.
Went
Nice.
even higher.
Granted, if you're Alex, you have to look at everything with the glass half empty, and so he'll say, well, technically, Owen won $3,000, so it doesn't even really count.
I did skew the numbers a little bit.
Wait, did we still beat our record from last year, even not including that?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean-
whatever.
Right. So I don't think it matters.
Yeah, but also
Either way.
Aaron donated a lot more than he did last year. And that's basically the entire offset from last year is Aaron.
Whatever.
Listen.
We take those.
You don't need to bring that up, Alex.
Did Aaron donate or did Finn donate? Sven donate.
Yeah. Because Sven was
Oh,
donating
wow.
a lot.
I donated as myself and immediately regretted it because I got a text from Alex. Actually, should I just read what the text said?
Oh, please.
Yes.
Let me see if I can find. Let me see if I can find this text. Hold on. Where are you at? Where are you at, Alex? Where are you on my phone? We don't ever text each other.
We live in the same house.
Yeah,
We
what?
don't text anymore. Hey.
That was a good reference. I liked the musical reference there, Chad. I see what you're going for.
right,
Director level money.
Make my donation. Immediately get a text from Alex. Talk about just slapping your dick right on the table.
What?
Well, it
Wow.
was completely out of context too, because I didn't even know what he was. I didn't know, but apparently he was sitting up in his room, and the donation thing went off, and he was watching on his TV, so it like blew up his speakers with the kids screaming. Anyway, thought it was funny. So we raised $8,110. Our stream is still. You can go watch it on Twitch. There's a lot of cool segments to it. I particularly enjoyed our time playing Monster Camp. Thought it was an absolute blast.
It was
Oh, it's
amazing.
Always is.
Man, I didn't know what I was missing until I played. Oh, thanks, Tim.
Until David Attenborough.
Yeah, I know. It's such a good game. It's really well written. So I very
Really
much
well
enjoyed it.
written.
Well written.
written. It's well written.
I'm just trying to be Milo, Alex. Also, we really played a lot of games like Jackbox and What the Dub, where everything got really dirty. So make sure you check that out if that's what you're interested in. Anything else highlights that you guys really loved from the stream? That was great.
A regular human basketball, I feel like, was
That
a
was
very
really
large, a highlight for
That's
me.
fun.
That was a very good pick. Whoever put that into our list.
It's
Yeah.
so wonky.
Yeah, and I
it's
think
very
that's why
goofy.
it worked.
Mm-hmm.
It is a strange game. Also, if you're Caleb, don't just immediately start the game. Maybe start partying up first, because that would be helpful to get the game
Okay.
actually functioning.
In what game are you forced to party first before you make a lobby?
Here, well, let's
That's
make a list.
wild.
Regular human basketball. That's the whole list. Just
That's
going
it.
I
That's
thought
it.
the Left 4 Dead segment. I'm usually not a person that enjoys Left 4 Dead, but that segment with everyone, like literally anybody that wanted to participate, was in it, and it was great.
It's so chaotic.
I loved it.
It was a lot of chaos.
Was a freaking mess. It was a blast. It immediately reminded me how much better Back 4 Blood is, but
Oh yeah.
it was just really fun to play with like a crap ton of people because there were just so many zombies. And I forget how much the specials in that game just randomly appear in weird spots, and like you were just not prepared at all whatsoever. It's fun. So anyway, go check it out. You can check it out on our Twitch. We are the Horizon. You can also still donate, I think, up until December 31st. So
Yep.
if you are just catching this now, feel free. We'd love to not take your money, but we'd love to pass it on to hospitals for kids. In case you didn't know what this is for, Extra Life is for Children's Miracle Network Hospital. All the money that we get goes directly to them, which I think is really awesome. Also, it helps move us up the rank. And right now we are rank 161, which is
Man,
freaking dumb.
that's
dumb.
so good.
We're beating
Yeah.
Sirenscape by $10.
I think
Nice.
we're like maybe 7 away from Rooster Teeth Discord.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Yeah, it
Coming
is.
for
It,
you, Rooster Teeth.
it is insane to look at like the groups that we're beating or the groups that we're near. It's just like, Rooster Teeth's Discord or like Ubisoft Montreal's headquarters or something like that, and you're just like, oh, we're doing just as good as them. Or it's all like, this is weird. This is a weird feel.
Are we only 7 away from Rooster Teeth's Discord followers as well?
Okay,
Like,
so
we're close, right?
Rooster Teeth team, which is the actual team, is in first place.
Well, yeah.
Oh.
They've
Rooster
got like
Teeth-
millions of dollars.
Rooster Teeth Discord is 147th place, and we are
close.
161, I believe.
Why are
161.
those different? That's what I learned.
Because
know.
I think
This-
one is like the people of Rooster Teeth and trying to get money, and then I think the Discord is just like the fans.
Yeah, that's what it would be.
Oh, so it's just the Rooster Teeth people. The people are donating to them. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Versus.
So that's why they're
Fans.
in first place, is because those are the actual like Rooster Teeth people, creators
Gotcha,
and
gotcha.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, it's honestly incredible to see that Rooster Teeth's goal, just their goal alone, was $250,000, and they got $607,000.
Nice.
I know you guys like crapping on giant bombs, so I'll bring this up for you, make you happy. They only hit like half of their goal.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Oh,
I mean-
darn.
That sucks for the kids.
It does.
Yeah.
Didn't like a bunch of people like left? Giant
Yeah,
Bomb,
like
yes.
they lost like a lot of their team, and their
Mhm.
site's so different now. And I saw that, and I was like, well, that kind of reflects the state of what they're doing, I guess.
Hate to see it, Alex. You hate to see it. Anyway, check out our Extra Life page. We'll put a link in the notes. If you want to donate, like I said, until December 31st, we would appreciate it. We'll be back
donate
again
to
next
Alex.
year. Yes, donate to Alex so that he can get, make his numbers. That would be great. We'll be back
he
next
put
year
in
with more
so
games.
much work, and I feel like he needs to get like a free T-shirt or a medal or something. So donate to Alex so you can get there.
Aaron did a ton of work too, like
Thank you, Alex.
the same if not more.
Aww.
Ooh.
Man, Alex, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let's move on to what have you been playing lately. And speaking of Alex, let's talk about what you've been playing. What's up? What's new? What's happening?
Yeah, so there's a game called Bright Memory Infinite. It's like this very small, like single
Is that a mod
dev
for Halo?
developed shooter. Yeah. Yeah, all the Infinite games are coming out this year and next year, so be prepared for that. There was a game that was released like a year or two ago on Steam that was like Bright Memory Chapter 1 or just Bright Memory or something like that. And it was like cheap. Episode 1, something like that.
Maybe. I don't
And
know.
it was like to fund the development of the rest of the game that this guy was working on. So you got to play like a demo essentially, but it was like $5 or something. And then he put this out, the completed product, finally, and he gave it to everybody that bought that other thing that he put out before for free. So like me and Caleb have it in our inventory already for free. So that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Just
Oh.
as like a thank you for supporting him. In terms of the game itself, it's like super short still. It's like 2 hours long.
Oh, really?
I finished it today. I never quite settled on a control setup that I liked. I feel like there's like one too many buttons that you need to be hitting all the time.
There's a lot of moves.
Yeah. So you have like the whole point of the game is like to be like really fast and like doing all these like crazy ninja moves and stuff. So you have your guns, but then you also have like a sword that you can slash people with. And the sword has a bunch of moves. So like you can do like the lift people into the air move, or you can do the charge up the sword and do a slash that does like a laser beam thing. And then you also have like different punches on your arm. That's another key. And you can do like rocket punches and stuff like that. And like this EMP blast that floats people, and this like grapple hook thing that pulls people towards you with that. And it's all like depending on if you press it, if you double press it, or if like you hold it. So that's hard to get your head around. And then also there's just like one too many actions to map to keys effectively. I ended up having to put one of the abilities on E, which didn't feel the best ever. Because there's also a block. That's the other thing. And you can like parry anything in the game and block stuff. So
Oh yeah.
It's pretty fun though. It doesn't feel, I mean, it's one dude making it, so it definitely feels like that, I would say. And he tried to like, I feel like he tried to sell it with graphics somewhat, because there's like ray tracing and DLSS and like all these advanced graphics stuff in it. But then also like the models and animations are bad. So like you have all these cool effects on these like bad assets, and it's a weird amalgamation.
I remember the first little demo game looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's still, I mean, it still looks good. It's just like there's a lot of parts in it that you'll look at it a little bit too closely and be like, yeah, this is definitely like low budget. Still pretty fun. I think it's too expensive for what it is if you were buying it straight out right now.
How much is it?
I think it's like $20.
For a 2.5 hour
is too
game?
expensive.
Oof.
Yeah, it's
That's a lot.
$20. I think $20 is too much for what it is. I'd put it at like $10 or something. Yeah, I don't know. Also, I ran into this issue where I played on, how many difficulties? There's like 3 or 4 difficulties, but I played not on easy. I played on like normal. And I got to the point where 2 of the abilities I had were just like stupid OP. So there's like a rocket punch that you can do that does like a big explosion in a line in front of you if you charge it up. And I could just sit at the corner of any arena and charge it up and kill like everything.
Wow.
Or like bosses, there's like this if you charge up the sword and do like the slash, it'll send the slash out, but then it like spins. And like if you level it up enough, it sits on an enemy for 8 seconds. And that gives you enough time to charge up another one. And also the damage it does staggers people. So you can like just throw it repeatedly at a boss and just kill it. So I got into situations where there was abilities that were too good, and it kind of made me not use the full set of features that were given to me.
Cool. I'll go next. I just have a couple highlights from the stream because everything I'm going to talk about is going to be in the game section. But I played Brawlhalla again for the first time in years, which was just an absolute mistake.
That was perfect, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. We won every single round.
Yeah.
You have to know going in that's a mistake.
Yeah, one time I remember downloading the game and then remembering, like, I was just reminiscing on past experience with Brawlhalla, and I just immediately deleted it without actually loading it up. I should have done that this time. I didn't. It was a mistake. I think we played like 5 rounds and we lost every round handedly.
I think we played more than that. We played for like a half an hour at least.
A long time.
It's already gone. You know what? It's over. It's done. It's gone. Not doing it again. Maybe in a couple of years.
I don't understand how that game got so bad. Like, that game used to be so fun, and like it was one of those like rotations of like, all right, we play Dota, we play Brawlhalla, we play Dota, we play Rocket League, but like,
yep,
I don't know what happened to it. And I think I vividly remember they added the multi-dodge or whatever, and that's where it started like go downhill.
Well, and
You
I
guys-
feel like they've lost all of the the casuals, and now the only
Yeah.
people that play that game are the ones who just play all the time.
Mm.
And
You guys should have played the Nintendo Smash Brothers clone.
Oh, right.
Not
Oh,
Nintendo.
yeah.
Not Nintendo.
Mhm,
More
the
Nickelodeon.
Nintendo Smash Brothers clone,
Nickelodeon
Smash
All-Stars.
Brothers.
Nintendo Smash Brothers clone, Smash Brothers Melee,
uh,
and Brawl. No, the Nickelodeon one is apparently pretty good.
All-Stars.
I'm sure whatever it is, it would be better than Brawlhalla.
Probably take that, Brawlhalla.
That is enough about Brawlhalla. Let's talk about two other games that I really enjoyed on the stream. Back 4 Blood, just an incredible game. Freaking love this game. I want to play it all the time.
Yeah.
We actually played for, man, I feel like it was like 3 hours the other night.
It was.
And we're just powering through some maps. I think we went like maybe like 9 or 10 dots before we finally died. They're not acts. I don't know what they're chapters.
Missions.
Chapters.
Yeah.
Chapters, whatever. Yeah.
Chapter level missions.
These
Yeah,
dots
yeah.
loses the word mission.
Yes.
I was mad when we died.
I mean, we died at a crappy point, but
We died in a dumb way. We just like wrecked the boss like super hard and was like we were feeling really strong, and then we just got overwhelmed by some like peons
Yeah.
in a hallway.
Yeah.
Peons.
I couldn't.
Mhm.
I couldn't swing my sword fast enough.
So
Someday.
sad.
Which is ridiculous. Because nothing
Anyway.
was moving.
Awesome game. If you like Left 4 Dead, this is just better. It looks prettier. It plays better. I think it's just a fun game. Just try it.
I'm in 3 different groups playing it, and then anytime any of them is like, "Hey, you want to play?" I'm like, "Yeah." Well, I feel like usually with like
solid.
a regular
Yeah,
game,
yeah.
I'd be like worn out on it by now because there's too many
Right.
people want
Yeah.
to play it.
It's like
playing
that.
Divinity.
I was
again.
just gonna say
Yeah.
all the saves in Divinity. You just have everybody's initials, and you're like,
Mm.
wait, there's too many A's. Which A is this? I don't know.
I feel like there's enough diversity in each level. Like even repeating the levels, there's just enough that happens different. That's like it's really fun.
There's
Yeah,
also
the cards add like just enough of a twist on every level.
Yeah.
Spice
I
it
was,
up.
I was gonna say the cards also add an incentive to go back and do
Yeah.
a lot of the
Mhm.
missions again too,
Right.
because you're not gonna feel bad being like, "Oh, I'm doing this over again." You're gonna be like, "Wait, I'm getting points, so I can continue my progression on the cards." And I feel
Yeah.
like that helps a lot. Is that you have 2 separate sets of progression. You have like the story of all of the missions and everything, but then you also have the progression of like your own card stacks and everything,
Yeah.
so you can get further through that, so you can get the better ones at the end and start putting those in your deck.
I'm really interested what happens when you get further on, like Act 3 and forward, because you only have 15 cards in a deck. You're done putting cards in to play
Each-
at like the middle of Act 2, right? Or
I
like the
assume
beginning
it
of Act 2.
resets.
It
Yeah,
does.
it
It resets
resets at
each
each
act.
act. Start of each act.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
because I've never been to Act 2. That makes sense. All right.
Yeah.
I was wondering,
Wow.
because that's...
Never been to Act 2.
I have
Oh,
not played that
And you
much.
call yourself a gamer.
I only have 10 hours on record.
He's been on
Wow.
vacation a lot lately.
That's right.
That's
you are
fair.
on vacation. That makes
Yeah, I was
sense.
gone for a
Take it
minute.
all back.
The last thing to mention, I was just going to say, GTFO, if you've not played this game, this is one of the best games I've played in a while. It's incredible. The graphics are amazing. The fog is the craziest looking thing I've ever seen in a game. It runs like butter.
Yeah, it runs so smoothly. It's insane.
Launching Battlefield and then closing it down and launching GTFO, I'm just like, man, some games are optimized. I know that's not entirely because the game's optimized. My PC's also old, but still, this game is it's a solid game, and I feel like we never play, and we need to play more. Love
And
it.
it comes
GTFO is
out
like-
in 1.0 this year still.
I know.
Really
I know.
soon.
It's
Crazy.
like a really good game, and I enjoy it. But it's like the opposite of Back 4 Blood in that I can't just play it a lot. I feel like it's too slow. It's too plotting.
Mm.
It is
Like everything you
very
do in that
methodical.
game is like methodical. That's the word.
You have to be
When
very
you-
careful. Yeah.
I think I really want to make it to some of the lower parts of each of the, what are they called? They're not runs. What's the term?
Rundowns.
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 There we go.
Dots.
Yeah, I really want to make it
Call yourself
further
a gamer.
I want to make it further levels down because I feel like they probably have other mechanics that we have not experienced yet, and
They
maybe even
definitely
other
do.
enemies that I
Yeah.
haven't seen.
Yep.
That's what I want to see because we keep playing literally the first level missions all the time and never getting any
Yeah.
further.
I mean,
I
like
keep
the
seeing-
core loop of gameplay in that game is is have Caleb scan everything, tell us where things are, and then everybody crouches and turns their flashlights off, and then slowly, very, very, very slowly creep through a room until everybody's next to a person and hit them in the head. And then we get to the next room and do the same thing again.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think, the problem is, though, you run out of ammo so quickly. You can't just
Dude.
willy-nilly
You're
shoot
punished.
things.
You're punished if you do anything different.
I
Can't willy-nilly.
think that's the way we play the game, Alex. But I have, in watching videos and when I was trying to like dig into like how to actually play that game back the last time we played, I saw a bunch of groups just split up, just doing their own thing, just smacking those little creepers or whatever they're called by themselves and like flying through missions. And so I'm like, how?
Crazy people. But I'm on board. Let's do it.
I don't
Let's split.
understand. My whole thing is I don't understand how close you can be to kill one of them without alerting the rest of them.
Yeah.
Because the distances were like, all right, we're safe with these 2 kills. The whole room lit up, and it's like, what? How? What did we
Right.
just do wrong?
Right. Cool game. Try it out if you haven't.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Let's move on to Owen. What have you been playing lately?
I've been playing this wonderful little indie game called Haven, and it is fan-fucking-tastic. It's kind of this like nice. I don't want to say open world because all of the kind of levels are very small, but you go through a lot of these different levels of like kind of exploration, but it's also kind of got a little bit of a visual novel feel to it, of kind of like choosing the dialogue between the 2 characters that are stranded on this planet and running away from home. And it's been a lot of fun. I think it's very well written. I honestly, one of the things that I keep commenting on is just how impressed I am with how they got the relationship between the 2 characters done well, because they're like, the idea is these 2 are lovers that ran away from a society where they would have been match made to marry somebody else, and they were like, fuck that, we're gonna marry each other, so we're running away. And like, you really get the sense of the like relationship in both of the struggles that they have because they've ran away from home, and they're trying to survive, but also like the affection that they have for each other, and the bond that they have. And I like, one of the things that I constantly think as I'm playing through the game is just like, oh, that's me and Allison. Like, it's just like these little things that are just somewhere in there, it's just being like, oh, do you need cuddles right now? And I was like, I say that all the fucking time.
Are you playing it with her?
I'm not, unfortunately. I really wish I was.
But there's no way to do it.
Everything I've
Can't
read
be
about
done.
that game
It's
was
not
like,
done.
this is the perfect game to play with your significant other.
It honestly is. I tried to convince her to play it, and she was like, nah, I don't care. It's not a turn-based RPG, so she just did not give a fuck. But I mean, I very much have enjoyed it, and I even appreciate how just straight horny both of the characters are most of the fucking time. Because it's just really kind of refreshing of how it's like, it's very nonchalantly there. It's not like how some visual novels, they're trying to like build up the thing and being like, they're gonna have sex, guys. It's a big thing. It's sex in a video game. It's just kind of like, they just like are nonchalantly like just off screen for a second, and they come back, and then they're just like, okay, cool, round 2. And you're just like, wait, did you guys just fuck? Like, was that what? and it's just so downplayed, and I was
Man,
just
are
like,
you secretly a weeb, Owen?
No.
Like, you won the weeb trivia thing that we did.
Don't remind me.
And now you're saying you're into visual novels that are horny.
I appreciate
got you
how
there.
nonchalantly horny it is. Because every time I play visual novels, it's always just like in your face, being like, look, anime titties! Whereas this has none of that, and it's literally just like them having some sort of dialogue that they were just like, yo, quickie behind the rock, and you're like, oh, cool, they're about to fuck. All right, neat. And you don't see any of it. It's like not like it literally does nothing for the game other than that they just had sex, and you're like, okay, whatever. And I appreciate how nonchalant it is.
I'm gonna be honest with you. You said quickie behind the rock, and I immediately just thought of having sex behind Dwayne Johnson.
What the heck?
I don't think you're doing it behind Dwayne Johnson in that instance. I feel like you invite him in.
It's about drive, Chad. It's about power.
Yeah.
We stay
I
hungry, we
remember-
devour.
I remember in the Haven demo, it had really, really good music.
Yes, the music is fantastic.
I
have
liked that
definitely been
game
jamming
pretty
out to
well
it.
in the demo. I didn't play it because I hated the combat.
Yeah, I hated the combat so bad. I couldn't.
The
play it.
combat gets a lot more intense, but
Yeah.
it is still like the press one of the 4 buttons and try to like time it to either be like blocking an attack that's coming in, so that way you can like parry and then do a different attack back, or do a combo attack with your partner. So it gets a lot better farther in and gets like a lot more difficult. But yeah, it's not the best combat, but I also don't think it's the worst. I kind of enjoy the combat breaks when they pop up.
Cool.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Cool. Cool. That's all you got. All right. Caleb.
I don't know what you people have been doing because we skipped a podcast and I've played so many games. I have like 5 extras that I've not written here.
I mean,
So many.
I have been in a van
I know
in
you've
different
been
states.
Hey, this is your time to shine,
Yeah,
Caleb.
come on,
you
Caleb.
go.
You can be the new Alex. Claim your
Yeah.
title.
Wow.
Do it.
When
Go for
when
the
Aaron
belt.
was gone for 3 weeks, I played like 0 video games.
What?
Yeah, because you
Were you just
watched, like-
crying at the front door? The whole time?
LOL. I just
No,
grinded-
because freaking every time I FaceTime this man, he's just in bed. I'm sure completely naked. I don't think it was just his shirt, but he
Okay.
only showed me from like his chest
I was
up.
wearing underwear.
I think you were completely naked.
Do you usually FaceTime like waist down, or so this was like a
question.
change?
Well, I told him he's just trying to like emulate Derek and he needs to stop because every time I FaceTime Derek, he is shirtless. And I assume he's completely naked too. Because I mean, just
All right, taking notes. Must have shirt off when answering Aaron.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm immediately.
If he ever FaceTimes you, just rip your shirt off real quick.
Yeah, real fast.
Oh shoot! Oh shoot! Oh shoot! Gotta take it off. Anyway, Caleb, what have you been playing?
Yeah. So the first game I played a bunch of is a game called A Monster's Expedition through challenging something. I can't remember now. But it's a little puzzle game, super relaxing. You're just this little monster guy, and you're going around on these various islands, and you can knock down trees and then roll the logs into the water to make little bridges across to other islands. And that's pretty much the majority of the game. You're just knocking down trees and building bridges to get to other islands. Later, you build rafts and shove yourself across to other islands. But it's just a super relaxing little puzzle game.
Yeah,
a lot
I heard-
like
I heard that was the chill version of Steven's Sausage Roll.
it is. Yes, I was about to say it's a lot like Steven's Sausage Roll, except you know how Steven's Sausage Roll has that moment where none of the puzzles are solvable anymore because they're just insane. A Monster's Expedition doesn't have that. Just makes you feel smart the whole time you're playing it.
I like puzzle games like that.
Yeah. Definitely check it out if you're looking for a little puzzle game. It's fun. I've also been playing a ton of Subnautica. I know, old game. But finally
Looks
got
pretty
around to
dope.
playing it. Yeah. I usually hate crafting games because usually they don't have some reasonable goal that you're trying to reach. But Subnautica, you just crash land on a planet and you're trying to get off of it. So you're building up a base, building up various vehicles to travel around underwater, find new materials. And it has a surprising amount of story in it. There's like a couple of different ships that have been crashed on this planet. So you're like getting little snippets of what happened to them and what happened to other people of your ship. So it kind of keeps you moving in that way. You don't really get stuck with nothing to do. No aim. Have any of you played it?
Nope.
No.
I
No.
played a bit of it. I never finished it. I ended up because I got to a point where I needed to like build my base up a decent amount, and I really didn't enjoy that, so I actually stopped then. But
The base building is the worst part, for sure. As a person who doesn't like crafting that much.
yeah,
What do you
It's a
say
shame.
about it? Oh, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's a shame because like going out and finding new stuff and then like taking it back to base and crafting something new with it is really fun. I
Yeah.
just didn't like trying to like precariously place all these different rooms. And at least for me, maybe I'm just really dumb, but I couldn't like get stuff to work. Like I think I just didn't really understand how the base building worked, so I just stopped rather than learning.
You don't have to build much of a base. It just kind of wants you to build a little bit of a base.
Sure.
After that, you just go around in the big submarine, and you don't even have to build a base. It seems.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not. I don't think strictly required. It's just helpful.
What you say about it kind of reminds me a little bit of Raft. We've been playing Raft with our parents, me and Chad. And we played some last night, and we finally got to a part that wasn't just mindless crafting stuff. It was like I crafted a radio and like zeroed in on a transmission that was coming from a specific island. We traveled there, and then there was like story elements. There's like notes that you found. There was like a lead to another thing that you're supposed to go find. So there's starting to be like some story stuff. And I think that game has like an ending where you get rescued,
Nice.
as far as I know. So similar
Also,
stuff.
The game
Yeah,
is
very
awesome
similar.
because you basically start building self-sustaining systems, such as like the raft that we have has a donut of just nets around it that just constantly is grabbing all of the debris. And then you just walk around and pick up everything. So you're like, man, I need planks. And then you like walk over to the net, pick up some planks. Like, great. I didn't have to fish for this, mine for this, go gather this, etc.
I also picked up Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. I think it might have been in the Humble Bundle.
I
Most
believe it
recent Humble
was.
Bundle. Yeah. It's a little adventure game. You're just running around solving problems in this town where you play as Turnip Boy who ripped up his tax bill. Yeah. And pretty much you run around ripping up other tax documents and helping people with their problems. Yeah, he really, really hates taxes. You eventually
Good on you,
learn
Turnip
why. Yeah. And kind of passed down from the parents. But it's a really funny game. It had me rolling a couple times with a couple of its references. It was pretty enjoyable to play. I mean, the base gameplay is just a bunch of fetch quests, right? But
Yeah.
little bit of combat.
Do you think that it's actually trying to say something about society?
I was gonna ask the same thing.
Or is it just being like
nah.
goofy?
Just goofy.
Are you running around as a literal turnip with legs?
You are a turnip. Yeah, you're a turnip with a face. It's like post apocalyptic, post nuclear, maybe, I guess.
Where all
Maybe
the
not
vegetables
apocalyptic.
came to life?
Yes. Yeah.
Does a turnip have a
interesting.
comb
Vegetables,
over?
fruits.
They still have taxes after the apocalypse. Good to know.
Yeah,
Is-
yeah. Oh,
are
Mayor
there-
Onion really wants there to be taxes.
Is there also maize?
I don't think there wasn't any maize or corn
Dang it!
that I remember.
Oh, I really liked the Maze characters from Maze.
There was a cherry. The cherry is the best. Cherry's the best. You'll see why. You play
I'm
it.
convinced we're the only people that ever played Maze.
That
Yeah,
game
like-
felt kind of like a fever dream. So that
Yeah.
makes
Yeah, it
sense.
did.
I'm like, what was that name of that other game where you play as kids in like a boxcar and you have to go finding things on a little town?
Yeah.
Because that's the game that I'm convinced that literally no one else has ever played because the dev came in and they were like, ooh, M2,
Oh,
go to the left,
Blackout
M2.
Club, right?
Blackout Club. That's it. Yeah.
I swear nobody else in the history of that game's entire life has played that game except for us. That's it. We're the only ones.
It
Anyway,
was kind of
sorry.
crazy when the dev showed up.
Yeah, that was nuts.
I've also played this game, The Last Stand Aftermath. It just came out a couple days ago, actually. I'm playing it a decent amount. It's a roguelike third-person zombie shooter, kind of. Oh, top-down
Wow,
zombie
that-
shooter, I guess.
It ticks
I
all
know.
the generic boxes.
Yeah.
So that's good.
It's very survivally. So you're someone who has the zombie virus, and you're going out and getting resources for the colony so that the people there who don't have it can live. So it builds the roguelike piece pretty easily because you have only so long to live until you turn into a zombie. So you're going out finding stuff for the colony, and you're finding little booster shots to prevent your turning into a zombie. And as your virus slowly ticks up, it takes down your max health, and every every little chunk that completes, you gain a new mutation. It just kind of modifies a little bit of how you play. You can get like a whole bunch of extra melee damage, but you move a lot slower, or you can carry more. People hit you, they get stunned, things like that. It's got a little funky twist there. It's pretty good actually. I've been enjoying it. You got to make hard decisions about what kind of stuff to go look for, because you know that you only have so much ammo to deal with all these zombies. But it's pretty good. I stopped playing it when I got to the end of like a second area, and I'd pull up in my car to this random fort where there's a whole bunch of people on the walls, and I get out of the car and like a horde of zombies shows up, and no one on the top shoots their guns they're all holding. They just stand there and watch as I sprint around trying to kill zombies and finally die. Like,
Don't
great.
waste their ammo, dude.
A lot of
Yeah,
help.
you just said ammo was scarce. I don't know what you
Yeah.
expected. Would you
Come
have
on,
done it
guys.
if they were running around?
There was
No.
like 10 people up there with guns. I would have shared my ammo if they'd have helped me.
Here's
Gosh.
the thing. Maybe it's like Snowpiercer. There's no ammo in the guns. It's just, it's performative.
Yeah, so I was really annoyed. I haven't gone back since then.
They gotta have some way to progress the plot. It's the same as Back 4
Yeah, I
Blood when
guess.
the people are standing on the building and they're like, "Why won't they let you up there?"
Yeah, don't let
No,
on
you
the
gotta be on the
building.
ground.
No, hold it off down there. Hi. We're safe. We're just gonna shoot occasionally.
Yeah, occasionally.
Sometimes.
When you
Ammo
were
just
like-
hits them.
When you were like, 4 of us were able to travel across this entire city to get to this bar, but for some reason we had to summon the entire horde so that 6 other people
can run
make it
across
out
the
safe.
street. I'm just
Hey, it's a
convinced
lot
that
more than
like
6.
everybody
It's like
else is
5
just a
buses.
moron.
Yeah, makes sense.
The other game I've played is Inscription, which I know Jake has played. I know Alex has
Mhm.
played some of. I don't know how far you've made
A
it,
bit.
Alex. Inscription's really good. Really, really good.
Yeah.
It's a collectible card game. Is that what you would call it? Or
I would call it a roguelike CCG.
okay,
For the
roguelike
most part.
Yeah, it's got really neat mechanics and a super cool theme or atmosphere. You're just like in this cabin, and you can like get up from the table, walk around, and mess with stuff in the cabin. And you sit back down and play against this super creepy dude, and you have to sacrifice creatures in order to bring other ones out onto the board.
Like
So you
Yu-Gi-Oh!
have
It is.
Sure,
it's,
yeah.
it's Yu-Gi-Oh.
So you have like a stack of your normal cards that you can draw. They're like good cards, and then you have a stack of squirrels that specifically exist for putting them out and murdering them in order to bring in other creatures.
I just generally agree with that concept.
What, murdering squirrels?
Yeah, they're the freaking worst.
Man. Taking some stands today. Okay.
Hot take. Sorry, Owen.
I didn't realize this. It's also made by the Pony Island people.
People?
I didn't realize that
I
for a long
think,
time.
I think it's like Guy.
I think it's just one guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Like some of the cards are like alive and talk to you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like
There's a stoat.
you start with the stoat, and like in order to start the game, you have to sacrifice the stoat to summon a wolf so you can win. And the stoat's like mad about it.
Yeah.
And then from then on, I'm like, I don't want to sacrifice the stoat. So I would play my games around not sacrificing him.
Wow.
No,
Wow.
get out of there. Just murder him again. And he's like, oh, again?
Yeah.
So without giving away, because this game, this is about the Pony Island guy. It takes a lot of twists and turns.
Yeah.
So without spoiling too much, the game does change, maybe like a third of the way through, and like that second third,
Ah.
like the middle third, is really bad. It's not very good.
They explicitly made the gameplay worse.
It's very odd. Because the
Yeah.
first part of the game, like Caleb mentioned, you have 2 stacks of cards. You have like your deck of cards, and then you have like the squirrels that you can sacrifice. And for whatever reason, in this middle part of the game, that's not a thing. You just draw cards.
Yeah, you just
So
get
for
random
me, at
cards.
least, I had a lot of scenarios where it was like, oh, I drew a hand of all squirrels. I guess I lose this game. I guess I lose now. Or alternatively, I would draw a hand of all cards that require a sacrifice to play. So it's like, oh, I can't play any cards. I guess I lose again.
Yeah.
which sucks. That's not fun. That's not what I like. It comes back in the last third. The last third is really interesting. I still don't like it as much as the first third.
The first
Kinda
part's
wish
still the best.
We
for
just stuck
gameplay.
with the first part and didn't make any changes to the way the game worked, but that's fine. It's fine. I respect trying new things. But the middle third did almost make me think about quitting the game. So I'm glad I stuck with it, but it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough.
Yeah, the middle third is really rough, but it's definitely worth playing all the way
Yes. The last third is definitely cool enough to push to the second third. The second third is also, I know I talk about them in thirds, but it's the shortest third. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the
How can you
shortest
have a
third.
shorter third?
It's a shorter third. Trust me. Just listen.
just
it's the shortest
can.
third.
It's the shortest act.
Yes, there. Act.
There are
Thank you.
3 acts. All
There
right.
are 3
all right,
acts.
all right.
Second act is the shortest one.
There we
Mostly
go.
because once you get like a decent deck, you can
kinda just roll
you
through
can
it.
just steamroll stuff. Like they don't stand a chance anymore. Also in the second act, you get to choose like a starter deck. Don't pick the zombie deck. It's bad. It was unplayably bad. I literally had to restart the act and pick a different one because I couldn't win a single match with the fucking zombie deck. Really bad. Don't play
Also,
it.
probably don't pick the magic deck.
Yeah. I didn't even play it. Like I got a little glimpse of it and I was like, that looks terrible.
Mm-hmm.
How many other options are there? Is there one option?
There
I should
are
pick?
4.
There's 2. Yeah,
There's 2 other options.
4
okay.
total, yeah. So either pick the one you've been doing. I don't know what
Beast.
that one is.
Beast
Beasts
deck, I think.
or robots?
Yeah,
Robots. Robots is probably pretty good.
Robot's good.
It's like Smash Up.
Yeah, it's like Smash Up. It's
No.
exactly nothing like Smash Up. Not even a little bit. Not
Pick
even
the
remotely.
robots and the zombies, and then you're OP now or something.
Yeah,
Oh, the
sounds
funny
about
part
right.
is there's a auto deck builder for that second portion of the game. If you use that, it always does beasts and robots, like as many of them as it can, and then some other
Huh.
stuff. So it also
Interesting.
knows what's best.
Yeah, it knows what the best cards are.
Wild.
Insane.
Jake, how about you? What have you been
Mm.
playing lately?
So the only one worth talking about other than Inscription, I started playing Metroid Dread. I'm gonna do a bit on it because I think it has one of the worst intros I've ever played in a while. I want to save that for like our intro segment later. So just as a tease, I think the intro is really, really bad. It does weird stuff with exposition where it shows like a cutscene that like this robot is invincible, right? Like you shoot it a bunch and it's like, oh, it doesn't do anything, and then Samus shoots a rocket at it and it doesn't do anything. And so like you run away, you escape, and then you hit like a checkpoint, and this orb guy shows up and he's like, hey, those robots, you can't kill them, you gotta run away from them. And I'm like, yeah, fucking no, that's why I'm here right now. I already did that. I feel like it does that a lot. Its storytelling's really weird. Literally, the part I just did, you enter a new area, and there's just like a guy, and he's like, hey, let me tell you about the main villain. And he gives this long exposition dump, and then he dies. It's like, oh, okay, bye, guy, whatever, that's cool.
They
And
serve
then
his
you
purpose.
just leave, you just go somewhere else.
Yep. I don't
But-
think any of the Metroid games have ever been particularly good at storytelling. I think
Here's
this one's
the
no
thing, though.
exception.
Just like, it doesn't need a story. Samus is in a place where a bunch of stuff wants to kill her and she wants to leave. There's your story, bruh.
True.
Like, you just run, like, because running around killing the stuff trying to kill you kicks ass. I don't need a story. I just need, oh, this alien's like shackled in waist deep lava? Fuck yeah. I'll fuck him up. Let's go. I don't need to know what his deal is. I don't need to know that, Night Raven is angry about Chozos or whatever. I don't care. Just let me shoot the guys.
The base gameplay is a lot of fun.
It is, yes. I know I've been complaining this whole time, but the game does kind of slap. Once it stops talking and lets you, push buttons, it's really good. Running around is really fun. You move quick. You can wall jump off stuff. You can, charge beam shoot, and when an enemy charges at you, you can, parry them, which helps keep the speed up so you don't have to, stop, aim, and shoot them a whole bunch. You can just kind of parry them and keep running through them. You get upgrades at a pretty good pace. So you're
Yeah, you get
constantly
upgrades a
opening up
lot.
new areas and getting, new abilities. It's real good. It's
Is
real
parrying-
good.
Is that a new mechanic for the Metroid series,
For
or is
Metroid?
that a mechanic
It's
that's
not-
specific to the side
It is
scrolling, or
not
the platforming, whatever it
new.
is.
Technically, they introduced it in Metroid: Samus Returns, which came out on the 3DS like 2 years ago or something.
Okay.
But it is not traditionally Metroid. Like Super Metroid and stuff did not have parrying.
Yeah.
Okay. I have never played anything other than the Prime,
Okay,
like the 3.
sure.
Well,
yeah,
Dread's really good. You should try it out.
Yeah, it's obviously it's very different. It's 2D rather than 3D.
Sure.
But like traditionally, Metroid's been 2D, so
Right.
it works.
Are you playing it on Switch or are you a bad kid?
I am playing it on Switch.
Whoa, I bought it
I
on
paid
Switch,
money
okay?
for it.
I own it on Switch, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's just that it runs better on PC.
Prime boy.
Yeah, have you noticed any performance issues, Jake?
Me? No.
Okay.
I think it runs great. I mean, there's this weird bug where like sometimes you walk in a room and this guy talks to you about the plot for like 5 minutes straight and then
Yeah.
dies.
Yeah.
Hopefully they patch that out though. Hopefully
I
no
don't
one
think
else
they're
has
going
to
to be
deal with
fixing
that.
that.
I think they should though. Is the thing. Nintendo, I know you listen. Fucking edit out those cutscenes. They kill me every time.
Chad, how about you? Let's move on to you. What have you been playing?
So we've touched on a couple things from other you guys playing the other games. Back for Blood, fun game. I honestly didn't think I was gonna like it because I don't like Left 4 Dead. So I think it's just because of how the guns feel in this game that like I'm able to get past the quote unquote hatred I had for Left 4 Dead. I think I just didn't like the non being able to aim down sights kind of feel and like just the hip firing and I don't know. Back 4 Blood, great though. Raft, we've touched on that just a tiny bit, playing that with the parents. Travis actually stopped by and played with us too last night, so that was fun.
Wow.
I started playing a little bit of Warzone again, especially because they had the Resurgence mode in there. There was like Resurgence duos and trios, so we could get some small squads going. Took a break from that because Resurgence mode, duos and trios got taken out, and it's only quads, and we don't have 4 people that play. Some of the people that I've met playing like New World and stuff play that game because of me. But the Resurgence mode is the mode where once you go down and you're like dead, you just have to wait a certain amount of time before you fly back in, which is honestly, I think, my favorite version of BR because you have a certain amount of circles that close before your respawn is shut down. Instead of let me die and wait all game either for somebody to buy me back, find my revive token, or like PUBG, just I'm dead and I'm out. So yeah, the Resurgence mode I think is one of my favorites, and they're coming out with the new map soon, so I wanted to get back in that a little bit with the hopefully they get the anti-cheat running and everything like that, so that Warzone is going to be fun again. I've also been playing a little bit of Phantom Abyss. I launched that randomly on stream when we couldn't get last year working. Rest in peace last year.
Oh man.
Gosh.
It was right when I was waiting to jump into Among Us, which I don't even know if I played Among Us. I think it was such a blur. I don't think I actually joined you guys with that. I think you guys quit before I got in. But yeah, I launched over Phantom Abyss, and Phantom Abyss is the temple run, like first person temple run game, where it's all procedurally generated. So each map that you run is something that you alone run one time, and if you beat it, you are the only person in the world that can beat that map. It's really cool. You get to see the ghosts all running with you from people who have tried it in the past, see their mistakes. They've added some like obstacles and various stuff, such as there's actually a tunnel that you run through that spins now, which is actually kind of cool. Still kind of just a pick up and play game. It's not something that you would honestly put any hours into. I think it's like $25, something like that. But it's a nice game though. If you ever want something to just kill some time on the side, and then also if you do get it, you can start posting codes into the Horizon Discord so that people can try to get their stuff back when they die.
I like the idea that no one else, like once you've run a run, you can't ever run that again. But when you run it against other people, you're seeing the ghost of like, are you seeing just the first person player, or you're seeing every person that runs?
You're seeing all the ghost forms running with you. It's like if you ever play like a race game and you have like that ghost car in front of you.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like that.
Super cool concept. I like that a lot. I think it's kind of neat because you only get one chance and then just move on to another one. Maybe try
Yeah.
to be the best at that one. I think that's neat.
Yep. And so there's different layers to it too. So there's like the green zone that you start off in. Then there's like the blue zone, which you get a choice near like the end of levels, whether or not to continue or if you're just done and you want to that's the run you want to complete and save all your stuff. If you use your keys, you continue down the path and you try to get to the center of the temple or something like that. It's like a weird map that you're seeing. Green, blue, and then like red is the last layer. And it gets progressively harder. There's a little boss creature that like follows you. One of them shoots a laser at you. One of them spits bombs at you. And one of them just constantly follows you throughout the level. You can tell based on their color what boss is going to be following you for the entire game. They get more aggressive as you go down the layers, which is kind of cool, interesting. It's more of an it's a bigger obstacle than the rest of the obstacles that are in there, so it adds that layer of like panic when you get to like spinning blades and then like the things like right behind you, or you get to a jump that you don't think you could quite make, and the things like falling behind you. Really cool thing is that the whip, if you hold right click and click, the whip actually grabs onto stuff and pulls you up. So it's it helps you get across those big gaps or around obstacles that you otherwise couldn't manage.
Yeah. Super cool. Looks really neat. Let's talk about a couple things in games realm. Not like that we've been talking about video games already, but we need to talk about a few games that have just come out that we've been playing, as well as a big rip to last year. We already kind of teased that a little bit, but let's just actually start with that. First and foremost, last year, dead game. Sad.
Yeah.
Why?
All right.
Literally
Biggest
unlaunchable.
disappointment of the entire Extra Life stream. Just can't play the game I was looking forward to playing.
I know,
yeah.
right?
Aw, rip.
What a disappointment. I wish they would just be like, you know what? You can make your own servers. We don't care. Just play the game.
Yeah.
Enjoy the game.
The weird thing is, as far as I know, the connections are peer-to-peer. So there's something broken with just like trying to load in to like the server that connects people up or something.
Yeah, I mean that
Weird.
makes sense because it wasn't like we loaded in and couldn't find a game. It's like you couldn't open it up.
Yeah.
Like it would just black screen. It was like that's it.
What a disappointment. They're not
Yeah.
paying their bills.
There's
Hosting
still
bills.
some people in the forums like, is this gonna get fixed or is this game just dead forever?
Bro, I think it's over.
Do
I
they?
don't know.
Does that studio
it's
have they made
gone.
anything else or?
I don't think so.
No, I think they made another game after last year.
Man, they just. I think Chad mentioned this, but they launched that game like right in the midst of oversaturated market for that type of game, and it just didn't get the footing that it needed. And then no one played it, and so now it's dead, and it makes me sad because it's
Elastic
really, really
Games.
solid. Chad, your eyeballs are huge. You're like, what the heck is he talking about?
Yeah. Well, I was reading a text and you said game that Chad talked about, and I was like,
Uh-oh.
Oh shoot, he's calling me out. Oh man.
Their
Yeah,
website says developer behind the upcoming asymmetrical multiplayer game last year.
Yeah, I don't think that bodes well for
Oh.
these fellas.
Oh no.
Yikes.
Oh no.
Yeah, video games are listed as last year and last year the nightmare.
Okay, so that's it. That's
Maybe we need to
okay.
have last year the nightmare.
I don't, man.
We-
That's really too bad.
I think last year the nightmare is just a DLC for last year, isn't it? Or it's
Almost
like the
certainly.
Just
it might not be a
standalone
DLC.
game, it looks like.
It might be a relaunch of the initial last year.
Yeah, that sounds right. They like changed a bunch of things, and then some people were like, "We like the way it was when you launched it," and then they released like a separate product that was the way it is before, which is super weird.
I don't know why. That's so strange. They should have just gone the Evolve Stage 2 route.
Yeah,
Oh
because
my
it
gosh.
went
And
so
just
well for
ruined
them,
their
dude.
game.
That
Yeah,
game's
yeah, that'd have been smart.
thriving. Everyone loves Evolve. Everyone's
Gosh.
fave.
Oh my
gosh. What? You still didn't tell me what game we're talking
We're talking about last year.
Last year.
Oh, yeah. Last year, that game. Oh, rest in
Don't
peace.
pull a me and completely just not remember what we're talking about during the podcast. That's my responsibility. I'm supposed to get distracted and not pay attention. Okay, let's talk about a couple of games that aren't dead, but are brand new releases that we've been
Brand
playing.
new.
One of which is Halo Infinite, which dropped on Monday. Is that right?
Yeah,
Um, I feel like Alex, you kind of called it too. You're like, I'm pretty sure it's gonna drop on Monday. Everybody,
I was
That's what he
hearing like
sounds
a
like.
bunch of rumors like the day before that everybody was like, "Hey, there's supposedly going to be like a surprise drop of Halo multiplayer tomorrow," and then like the thing that everybody was looking to was Pringles had put up some advertisement that they weren't supposed to, and it had like a countdown, and the countdown ended tomorrow, like on Monday. And everybody's like, that's super weird. And then the
Okay.
Microsoft Store had like some date in the back-end data that was the 15th.
I
that
really
they
want to know if
changed to
this
the 8th, like
Do you
right
know if
after it.
this Pringles ad, was it like an ad for Halo, or was it just like a generic Pringles ad that happened to have
No,
a timer on it?
there's a tie-in of like I think like there's a code in Pringles can so you get
Yeah.
XP or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's like a
Get
Halo
XP from
cross
Pringles?
advertisement.
Because you don't get XP from playing the game. That's
Oh.
for sure.
Hey, guess what? You do now.
Oh, did they update it?
They
changed that?
literally updated it this morning, and I've played it since, and it flies by. What Chad's referencing is that the was it like the season pass? The experience that you got in general, the season pass was just awful. It was terrible progression. Half of the challenges were bugged. It just did not work. And everyone bitched about it for about 3 days on Reddit, and then this morning they were just like, hey, we redid everything on it. So they fixed all the bugs on the challenges. You now get a larger sum of experience for going through each game. The daily challenge is just play games rather than like win games. So every time you finish a game, you get experience. So you're constantly getting experience now, no matter how long you're playing, which is very nice. And like you're also just like leveling up faster, which feels good. Because before it was like, I mean, I put like 10 hours in, and I was barely level 3, and that was just feels bad. And I was like, I spent the entire time like going after all of the challenges and things. I was trying to level up as fast as I could, and it just was a grind. And I was like, "This is fucking awful." And they were like, "Hey, we fixed it." So
Yeah, it's
good
like
for you.
if the challenges actually gave a significant amount of XP, it would have been okay to keep it challenge only, right? Which is it still just challenge only, or is there still the one that you basically just play the game that'll get you a lot of XP too?
Yeah, so now there's the daily challenge is just constantly stuck at, I think now just like play a game and then you get experience.
Sick.
And then there is weekly challenges, and so the weekly ones I think they upped or did something to, so that way you're still hunting those while playing the game, but you're not punished for just playing the game.
Right. There was a meme that I saw on the internet floating around, and it was like, all right, time to play Halo Infinite. And then like the next panel is like 60 years later, I'm finally level 3.
Well, somebody was doing some math and they were pointing out the fact that it would literally be like so much more cost effective to just go to a minimum wage job, work for an hour, take that money, buy the experience boost things for Halo, and then just do that, then actually play the game, because they're like, there's no fucking way that you reach. They were trying to do the math, and they're like, there's like no way that you reach level 100 by the end of the season or whatever. They're like, you can't fucking do it.
I'm
Which
pretty sure that would be the case for like any game, but in that case, you're not playing the game.
Yeah, but I don't know. It was one of the things of just like, I don't know why they didn't either play that, test that, or do the math on that, and to just see how bad it was.
I don't know why they would want to encourage people to spend money on the game. That's so weird. Doesn't make sense.
I mean, that doesn't make sense, but when you like, I understand what you're saying, Jake. But I'm just saying is that like,
Got him.
Oh gosh.
I just feel like it's a thing of like, once they looked at it, even they admitted, and they were like, yeah, we fixed this like instantly because this was bad. And I'm just like, so then why didn't you look at this sooner? Like, you had to have designed this in a way that you realized Someone
Do you
must have
think
at
they
some point
play
realized
test their game?
Yeah.
I'm sure
Like,
they knew.
What
This is-
developer play tests?
Dude, first of all, this is a brand new developer, first game release they've ever had. Okay,
It's the
Like
first
an
game in the
indie
series.
developer.
give them a
okay.
freaking break.
I'm
Yeah, wait
100%
until-
certain they knew exactly how bad it was, and if
I'm
nobody
sure.
was complained about it, they were going to be totally fine just leaving it
Oh, for
and,
sure.
But
and
it's
having
just-
people pay for stuff.
How the hell can you
For
go
sure.
through playing games and getting no experience towards the battle pass?
Yeah, but also
that's the
people
thing
are
that
gonna
boggles my mind.
they're not going to complain though because it's first of all it's Halo.
Yeah.
Oh
So
no, they
people are like,
complained.
oh
Let me
shoot,
tell
a
you
multiplayer
something.
came out. Oh, I know they did, but what I'm saying is like, by releasing it, they're just thinking, all right, well, whatever, we'll deal with this later because people are going to want to play this game. We'll just put it
Yeah.
out. Whatever. If we need to fix it afterwards, we'll fix it afterwards. But who cares? People want to play Halo.
Yeah. What are they going to do? Not play Halo?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Well, I'm
there are so
boycotting.
many other games to play.
Experience in this game is awful.
Yeah, you
Boycotting.
go play
Play something else.
Splitgate.
Yeah, you could.
Sure.
You could. You could.
Also, it's
Feels
like
similar.
at a certain point, it's like how much does like cosmetics from a battle pass matter versus just like you play a game because it's fun to play.
Man, that is rich
Ah.
coming from you, Alex.
Got 'em.
So I agree with that, Alex, but also in today's market, I believe we're so saturated with battle passes and cosmetics. We're so like we're actually led to hunger for them. If Halo came out and
Yeah,
it
it's not
didn't have a
good.
battle pass, people would be like, "Where's the battle pass?
Yeah.
Like, what? Where's
But,
the
trying
where's,
to
where's
make the point of
cosmetics?"
like, I'm not going to play Halo because I'm not getting enough experience towards these cosmetics is, I think, a bad argument because like Halo should be fun enough that you want to play it because it's fun.
Sure, you would think that.
Which I would, yeah, sure. I'll do a big team battle and just be like, okay, cool. I'm good now. I played a big team battle and I ran around and it was fine. And probably then boot up older Halos that actually have your vehicles that spawn and weapon spawns and things like that aren't fucked.
So is it worse than older Halos?
I think the game when the game is functioning well, and like I think that there's a reason they've made the changes. I don't like a lot of the changes, but there are some things that I feel like are phenomenal. The equipment in this is like way better than the equipment that they've had in various Halos. I think the gunplay is a lot better. I feel like the objectives and things are a lot more fun. But like,
See, okay, here's what I'm gonna say no because, and Chad made this point the other day. They basically took a good game, Domination. They were like, how about we just screw everyone who wants to play this game and make it so that you have to control a majority of points to score.
yeah,
Which
that I
Wait.
agree is stupid.
It's an interesting thing to try out. No one really tried before.
It's freaking
It's-
awful in this
it's
game.
like Caleb.
They'll probably change
I
it.
like it.
People
What
probably
happened?
find
I
better
hate
enough.
it.
The only thing that I like the idea because I mean in general what you're doing is you're taking away the clock ticking up and all that actually matters then is the score differential, which you were doing anyway when you're playing domination games. The thing that I hate now is that it locks you out from being able to win on a ticking clock. And so, like, even if you get to 190 points and now you only control point A, and so you don't have 2 points, so you can't gain any more points, you're just stuck there at 190 out of 200. And that, I think, is dumb. I think that they should have either kills or something else that counts points in, so that way, even if you're stuck there at, like, the 190, there's something that's helping you out. Because I mean, I was with Chad for a lot of those games, and we were running into issues where, like, we would just run in a circle, and the other team would run in the opposite, in that same circle, and so they would capture 2 points, and then we'd capture the third, and then they'd go after the one that we just captured, and then we'd grab one, and we just kept running in the map in the circle. And like just for several minutes, and you just never got any points. You're just still stuck at 190 because you never got 2 points.
To me, I just feel like that's bad strategy on your part. Then you should have like noticed what was happening and changed up what you were doing. Like the way it's set up
Get
now.
called out. Holy crap!
I think the way that the mode works now allows for clutch,
Yeah, I was about to say
which is
that.
super cool.
Yeah,
It does
and
allow
that
for
is the thing I do
comebacks.
appreciate. I just wish that like if you
I mean-
if you got a point, you get a single point, so then you go to 191.
The game that we lost, that we were at like 190 something, you know how amazing that other team must have felt when they clutched it out and managed to keep us off of 2 points long enough to come back and win?
Man, just say get good. I mean, I agree with you, but at the same time, I feel equally as good when we're playing the original domination mode and we're down by 100 points and we need all 3 points to come back, because that takes even more skill to control all 3 points, and then you come back and win with all 3 points. That I think takes more skill than holding 2 points.
Yeah,
I think that might be
you'd have to have a lot of skill, but the team
Halo.
you're facing would also have to be bad at that point. Like if you're facing any team that is on an equal footing with you, that is basically impossible.
Yeah.
I think maybe with the way that the Halo maps are laid out, like there's not a lot of perimeter locations around the points. They're kind of on the perimeter of the map. So if you've taken over 2, people are spawning at the 3rd point almost like right next to it. So to be able to control 3 might be pretty difficult in comparison to something where you can play normal domination, where you could potentially control all 3 points.
Speaking of maps, I'm curious of your opinions of everyone else that played. How do you feel about the big team battle maps?
Love it.
Yeah?
Love it. Absolutely
Big team battle maps are good.
Like, I love playing big team battle. I just feel like my complaint is that they just, a lot of them feel the same. Like I there's like the one that has like the 2 Forerunner bases that reminds me a lot of Valhalla, and I'm like, okay, cool,
sure.
Like this one's very distinct, and then there's like a bunch of them that are just generic, either nighttime or daytime. There's like a base or something, and there's some rock formations, there's some trees, and I was like, this is what you guys have? Like, I don't know. I'm expecting something to like visually pull me in and make these maps distinct from each other, but they just kind of all bleed into this kind of like foresty Forerunner area, and I'm just like, okay, cool.
Really?
I don't remember.
Super unique to me.
I also don't remember like old Halo games having multiplayer maps that were like so visually distinct from one another.
And
like,
see, I would
play
argue
a lot of
that
those...
they do. Like, Blood Gulch is so vastly different from Sidewinder, is so vastly different from Valhalla, is so vastly different from Hang 'em High, like, or Tombstone, depending on which version of the game you're playing. Like, I don't know.
I didn't play a lot of Halo, but I just remember like gray walls.
I mean,
but only
true.
Lockout.
Yeah, the 44 maps I feel like are very distinct, and they did a very good job designing those. I feel like those are extremely well balanced, and I was like, oh, I love these. This is like those maps. I was like, this is Halo. I was in, but some of the big team battle ones, I was just like, kind of meh on.
It also feels like a little bit like they really focused on the 4v4 stuff more than the big team battle. Maybe that's just me, but it just seems like there's more content there. Like that's where they want people playing, and maybe smaller play test area is better for them before they start. I'm sure they're going to release a freaking crap ton more maps.
Oh,
I'm sure they're going to re-release all the old maps. I'm sure there's like, you know, they've been working on this game for years. There's no way they're not going to. So
well, this is a live game now, remember? So we're going to be expecting bunches of future content updates.
Are we going to be vaulting things as well?
So that's about to mention thing.
Are we gonna have a vote list?
Gosh, awful.
I would like to do a Chad's hot take. So whenever you guys are finished,
go. I was just gonna say the one other thing that I questioned was just I both understand why, but I hate that the like special vehicles in the big team battle maps don't spawn constantly. That bothers me a lot, because like when you have things and it's just like, oh, I want to jump into Scorpion. Sometimes you don't even get to the Scorpion phase of the map, and you're just like, oh, okay, that's cool, I guess. I mean, I'm playing this game mode to play, you know, to jump in a Scorpion or to fly around in a Banshee, and if it doesn't like drop because you didn't progress far enough in the map, you're just like, nah, all right, man, whatever.
That feels so actually powerful that I don't want them to spawn constantly.
Oh yeah, me too. That's what I think.
Well, that's the thing I understand. I was like, I do like, however, when I'm just running around, that I'm not getting destroyed by someone in a fucking Scorpion all the goddamn time.
Well, it's one or the other, Owen.
It makes controlling them that much more important, right? They're like big objectives on the field suddenly.
Even
though it's just a Slayer.
It's fascinating to see so many times that people are grabbing the tanks or the air power and things like that, and then rushing it back to their base so that way they can like hold it and just be like, we're just gonna defense this. I'm not gonna bother trying to attack with this because I don't want to die.
I think the dropping of vehicles in the middle of the map makes it feel way more objective based rather than just being like blue flag, red flag. There's a lot more mini battles happening on the map, which really spreads things out. So you're not just everybody right on top of one another defending a flag, or a group of 4 people on a vehicle driving all the way to the other side of the map to pick up. There's a lot more dynamic things happening around the map, which I feel like spreads it out a little bit. I think it's really good for big team battle.
It does. I feel like it does very much smooth out how I never feel like there's a defense and an offense. I feel like there's just like you said, there's all of these battles happening in between. So like you spawn on your side and then maybe you shoot somebody that's like trying to grab your flag, but then the second that person's dead, you've got someone else that you can start shooting that's a little bit further away, and you just kind of slowly do this kind of grind across the map. There's always somebody somewhere. There's always some power weapon that's spawning or something that's spawning that you're like slowly fighting your way through anything, and it's not just like, oh, I spawned here. Well, I gotta walk for 30 seconds to get to wherever the fight is.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm really enjoying Big Team Battle. Chad, let's get your hot take. What's going on?
So, my opinion on this, and this is like the first week it's been out, I think we're having another one of those hype pops with this game. Now, I believe Halo has always been popular, but I think Halo Infinite right now is just kind of nostalgia. Like everybody's coming back because of the nostalgia of what Halo is and the memories they had from the past. So I believe that there's like a huge hype with it right now. A lot of people are playing it, but I feel like a month's time, 2 months pass, unless there's something major that happens, like a huge Halo competitive scene or like some modes that are just really unique that really bring people into this game. I think it's just going to be, from what I said earlier in a Discord, the Splitgate saga, where Splitgate popped really fast because like gaming was super stale. Warzone had a ton of cheaters. People were moving away from that. Battlefield wasn't out yet. There was just like people were just like seething to have something to sink their teeth into, and Splitgate came out. People like really played the crap out of it. And then if you look at the numbers now, it's kind of like, right. But Halo is like that right now for me. I think it's a nostalgia pop, and I don't think it'll be one of those games that lasts, especially with how, if you look at all the games out there right now that are super popular, Call of Duty, Apex, Fortnite, they're all like twitchy shooters, and this is like the arena shooter that comes out. Once again, it's an arena shooter, so it's same thing over and over again. You're capturing the flag, you're holding the points. There's not much diversity. While love it or hate it, battle royales have a story that unfolds all throughout the game. And so I think the reason battle royales have taken over and the reason battle royales last so much longer than most arena shooters right now is because, one, it's a story that you can watch on stream that has a beginning, middle, and end, and it's always different. And two, it's just streamers make games popular right now. And if people play Halo and they play the Halo Infinite and that's what they do and that's the viewer count, it'll stay popular. If the big streamers stick with it, it'll stay popular. But with these big streamers, I honestly don't see that happening.
Well, you make a big point too. Like the scene has changed for multiplayer gaming significantly. I mean, PUBG came out in 2017. The last Halo that came out was 2015. It's been 6 years since anything was released, and coming back out as an arena shooter when we have like a plethora of different options for us to play, it may be difficult for it to catch, for find footing. They may fall flat a little bit, at least at first. I don't know. Maybe the campaign will, like really pull people back into the game, and maybe with releases with the next season, who knows?
Yeah, I think Chad has a point, especially with like the unless like the esports side of it pops, because like they're already just from this beta already seem like they're really trying to like tell the community that like, hey, we got esports, the esports here, because a lot of the customization is behind team like colors and things like that and team armors, and so they're just like, yeah, buy the Cloud9 armor, buy the FaZe armor or whatever. We've got like a free a Halo Championship League color for anybody who's currently playing the beta. And so I was just like, okay, so you're really trying to let everybody know, like, hey, there's an esports thing here just off of the go, which I think is impressive, but I also think the reason they're doing it is exactly what Chad said.
Yeah. Maintain viewership, maintain following. Makes sense. We should also talk about, unless somebody else has something to say about Halo, let me pause in case somebody's got something. Okay. We should also talk about the other game that just came out that is also important because it is a huge title. Battlefield 2042 launched on... I actually don't even know the day. When did it launch? It launched last Friday.
I assume 2042, right?
Technically, it launches tomorrow, right?
Yeah, technically it's tomorrow.
All right, so for all gold, I don't even know what level that
Golden
purchase
up.
was. Golden up purchases, you got to play starting last Friday. The game officially releases tomorrow, so sure. Like we're right in the midst of the release, but I think so far feeling like they're having a rocky start. I don't know about everybody else that's played, but it's not what I expected.
I have seen it be compared, and I think this is a little drastic. It's been dramatic. It's been compared to Cyberpunk.
Ooh,
Wow.
Yikes! I don't. I mean, it still feels like Battlefield.
Is
Jumping
it
in a game
because it's buggy or
Yeah,
what?
yes.
It is buggy,
The
very
bugs,
buggy.
yes.
It is buggy. It's like very unoptimized.
Oh man,
Unless you have like a really good computer, you're not running it at good frame rates.
It basically feels like it shouldn't be released yet.
it really does. I mean, I have
I see
a
the comparison.
3080, but I also have a 5-year-old CPU, and I'm getting like 31 frames, 32 frames, running on medium graphics. It's struggling.
Very
It's very
CPU
much
bound, yeah.
Also, there's some like really serious bugs that need adjusted, like being able to res people would be it's not like it's a core component of Battlefield or anything. But when people go down and their bodies are on the ground and there's literally no prompt for you to be able to res them, it's a problem. You're losing a ticket. It's an issue. And you play as a squad. It's the whole point. You're supposed to stay together.
It's like every fifth person I try to res, there's just no prompt for some reason. This doesn't work.
Yeah.
And half the time that's like you or Jake or somebody that's playing on my squad, and then it's like, well, you just die and spawn on me, I guess. I can't res you.
Spawn
I
back
thought
on
you just walked up and slammed them with the paddles. I thought it was just an item. I've been seeing some stuff about
It's not an item anymore. Everybody can do it by default.
Oh.
You just like go up and hold the use key on them.
Is it faster for the medic to do it?
No, medic has certain perks. Like there's two different medic guys. One of them will heal the person to full from down. By default, you only get a portion of your health back.
Gotcha. Yeah.
The other one gives some armor to the person, I think, which I'm not really sure how that works. And then one of the medics has a syringe gun that you can heal at range, kind of like Anna a little bit. And the other one has med packs that you throw on the ground that you can heal next to.
Also, should probably mention other things that are semi-buggy. Vehicle collision feels like it does nothing. You can just fly or drive into anything. No problem.
The hovercraft things can just ride up walls of buildings. I don't know how they missed that in testing.
Well, also,
just freaking
if you
straight up
like
skyscraper.
Maybe they want it.
Yeah,
if you
just
do it
straight
just
up
right,
a 200-foot skyscraper.
You do it just right. You go up the skyscraper, and then you fly off the skyscraper, and the hovercraft is actually the best flying vehicle in the game.
Of course it is. Oh my gosh. I will say, for all that though, it still feels really like Battlefield. Like you go to a point, you're still playing that point. There's a giant war happening around you, which I like. Snipers right now feel very, very strong. I feel like most of the squads I play against just dominate me with snipers.
Sniper usually is one of those where it's just like, well, got shot from nowhere, but
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. 1,400 meters out, the dude's on like the edge of the map, just laying in, like on a piece of grass, just chilling.
Yeah, as much as it's like a little bit undercooked, I'm still having fun with it.
Oh, for sure.
Like Conquest still feels good. The maps are pretty. The maps are a lot bigger this time, and so they've given you a new sprint to kind of compensate. Plus, the wingsuit chick feels
the
like
wingsuit chick is amazing.
incredibly good on these huge maps because they doubled the amount of players in this game from previous Battlefield games. So they made the maps a lot bigger for that. But yeah, I mean, I have to do a lot of work to unlock some weapons and see what some future upgrades feel like. But I think the switching out attachments on the fly thing is like super cool. And I've used it a bunch, like going from an open field and having an ACOG on a rifle to you're about to run into a building, so you switch it to a red dot is really awesome.
Yeah.
Even with sniper, because you can do it with sniper too. You can have your 8 times on, and then you can like run into a building, and you could switch it to iron sights.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. That kind of stuff. I've had some Battlefield moments, quote unquote, already, so that always feels nice. Getting some like ridiculous cinematic moment where that things just happen perfectly. That there's cars exploding, some thing ramped over a hill straight across me, and I turn around and shoot it with a rocket, and they die, or like there was some camping snipers on top of this platform that we couldn't get to, and I threw a grenade directly straight up in the air, and it perfectly came down and landed on them and killed them. Very cool.
I think the biggest oh my gosh I have chills moment was I jumped off of a building, used a wingsuit, and an enemy jet flew directly over me, and then I like landed and killed 3 people. I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's like cool elements that change maps, like the rocket launching or like the tornadoes that come through. I wingsuited through a tornado, and it actually grabs you and pulls you in a circle and like pulls you up higher, and then like throws you out. So you can get like super far across the map, like slingshotted off of a tornado to the opposite corner of the map one time.
That's cool.
It's really cool.
How are the servers holding up? Just curious.
Seem fine.
Yeah,
I've just been surprised at how well the Halo servers are holding up.
Yeah,
there's gotta be so many people playing it.
There were some issues with crossplay right out the get-go. Like we were having issues joining games or getting kicked out of games, but I don't know if I've reactivated it. Have you guys turned that back on and played with it?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was actually day one we tried to play. We had a couple of minor issues where it took us trying to load in a couple times, but that's about it.
Which is pretty impressive for servers handling that many people in a single game. I mean, that's good on launch day. So, but Halo they also released
the Halo release. I tried to start downloading it right when they announced it, and Steam was giving me like 8 kilobytes a second download.
Oh yeah.
I had to restart Steam several times to try to get it to like hit a reasonable speed.
Which was weird because I was downloading it at the same time, and I was fine.
Yeah, Owen said that he was downloading fine. I switched my download server to the East Coast,
and then you were fine.
And it was like working way better there.
Yeah.
Wow. We don't like Halo over here.
That's right. That's right.
So 2 thoughts I have on Battlefield is, one, I really want to like the hazard zone mode.
Hazard zone, yeah.
Like I think ultimately this is like going into PUBG for the first time, and like trying to like PUBG like as soon as you jump into the game. You're not gonna have a good time. You're not going to like it. You're probably gonna die. You're probably not gonna know what's going on. That's kind of what's happening in this hazard zone. Like we're just dying so quickly, and then like the NPCs that you have to kill take so many bullets. You never know when they're actually an NPC or a real person. There's been like one time where we got to the very end where we're about to extract, but guess what? Surprise! There could just be a team sitting in the helicopter trying to extract, and they could kill you as you go into it. It's not just like you get there and you're done.
I don't like that. Don't like that at all.
It's almost like you have to do very last second extract. And
now that we know that it can do that, I think we can like check
sit in
at
there?
least. Like check a little bit
Yeah.
and see if people are in there.
Check it, throw a grenade in, shoot a rocket in, like something.
But we had no idea. We just ran straight in and just got obliterated.
Yeah, we were trying to W key for our 24-hour stream and just get out of that game. And guess what? We got out of the game.
Yeah, we W keyed real well.
Somehow that game made us have an extraction, though. I don't understand, because we logged back in the next time we played and we had an extraction streak, one tick.
Yeah, that was weird. That's probably another bug, to add to the list.
The second thing that I wanted to touch on is, I don't know why games are going this route nowadays. Battlefield has bloom in it now. There's actually like on your DMR when you're shooting from far range, like I've seen, like I've watched Shroud, I've watched a couple clips, like the bullets actually start spraying away from the gun just randomly. And it's like you can see that they're aiming directly at the person and they're not shooting all that quick. But yeah, so there's bloom in Battlefield, which I think is the weirdest, because like if you look at Fortnite has bloom. It kind of makes sense because it's more on like the casual level. There's building involved to where you can close the gaps and bloom won't really matter. Use your shotgun and an SMG, like you're fine. Battlefield's one of those, like it rides the line of like milsim and arcadey. It's not your Arma, it's not super milsim-y, but it's not your Call of Duty, it's not super arcadey. So why is there bloom in a game like that?
When you say bloom, I guess you're not talking. It sounds like you're not talking about like the lighting effect.
No, bloom is when you're shooting a gun, the bullets start to create their own randomized pattern, and it's not a recoil pattern. It's just the bullets will start to spread further and further away from the center. So
interesting.
In
Okay,
Fortnite,
the gun loses accuracy as you fire it. Essentially,
is it accurate for a gun?
Spread? Or is that just, are those the same thing? Spread versus
I think those
bloom?
are the same thing.
Okay. Okay, this is I've never heard it referred to as bloom before.
Bullet
So
spread's a
kinda
little different.
Okay.
Because you can actually kind of, like, if you had a bullet spread on a gun, I feel like you can kind of predict where the spread is going to go. Recoil is one of the, like, for instance, if you look at PUBG, there's a recoil. If you look at Call of Duty, there's a recoil. It's like, if you look at Valorant, CSGO, and Rust, there's a recoil that you can learn, where the bullets have, like, you go up 2 bullets, over to the left 1 bullet, over to the right 1 bullet, up 2 more bullets, creates a 7, like stuff like that. In like Fortnite and now in Battlefield, it's literally, you just keep, when you're shooting, the bullets just start to kind of cone away from the center. The way you combat it in Fortnite is you just shoot like a bullet at a time, because there's the first shot accuracy that you have.
Gotcha.
And it's like the bloom in Fortnite is severe, because if you don't do this first shot accuracy, where it's like you stand still for a second and then shoot, your bullet's just gonna fly off into Narnia. And then that's like similar right now in Battlefield. You pretty much have that bloom happening. The first shot hits, but then the rest of them start going wild.
Interesting.
Which is very convenient for a sniper, very inconvenient for everybody who's playing against them.
Right.
I guess the internet tells me that spread is an area where it's possible for bullets to land, and it's visually indicated by the crosshair. So, like, bullets can land in any of this part of the thing. Bloom is like, it changes over time.
Gotcha.
And like, your first shots are more accurate, and then they get less accurate as you fire.
It makes sense mechanically when you talk about a gun, because as you fire, the barrel heats up. The physics of the gun, like the bullet leaving the gun, do change. But Chad's got a point. It's kind of weird in Battlefield, because you want it to be in a milsim because it feels accurate, but you don't really want it to be in like an arcadey shooter. You want your bullet to always travel the way you expect it to travel within the parameters of how they built the gun. So, I don't know. Weird choice.
I almost forgot, but I also wanted to mention the third, like, quote-unquote mode, I guess. Because there's All Out War, which is like the regular conquest stuff like that. There's Hazard Zone, which Chat has just been talking about, and then the third thing is Portal, which I played a little bit of the other day.
I love that game.
Portal's pretty cool. It's like their way of like nostalgia baiting Battlefield fans. Yeah, dude.
Is this Splitgate Battlefield?
Portal is like a portal to the past, I guess, is what they're trying to.
What a bad
reference.
name!
What
a horrible name. Okay.
You can go in and customize, like completely customize how the game plays, and they have a bunch of stuff from old Battlefield games that you can pull in. So like by default, there's a couple of preset modes you can select. Like you can play Battlefield Bad Company 2's Rush. And it'll be like the Battlefield Bad Company 2 maps, those weapons from that game, the classes that were in that game. It'll all function like that. And then you can play like Battlefield 1942 or Battlefield 3 in there. And there's like maps from those games and weapons from those games and stuff. I think it's pretty awesome. But then on top of that, there's like custom community servers that are like you can combine any and all stuff from all those things plus all the stuff from the new game. So there was like I was looking, there was like a community server that was like it's new stuff, so it's Battlefield 2042 stuff, like maps and weapons, but they tweaked it to where classes are like in the old games, and there's 3D spotting, which is something from old Battlefield games. Or, you know, people were making their own versions of hardcore modes that used to exist in the old games. I also saw people were abusing it a lot with like they'd label lobbies like XP farm lobbies, and then you'd join and you'd have nothing but a knife, and then whoever had created the lobby is running around murdering everybody with like the best weapons and farming free XP.
That's really good. That's really good.
So I mean,
they do like you can.
Doesn't seem like they're lying about it.
And you can set it up so like there's one that's like quality versus quantity sort of thing, where it's like have spec out a squad of 4 with like the best equipment possible, and then spec out 40 people with 1942 weapons, which is really a cool concept.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, so I already saw some people like simulating like zombie modes by putting bots in that have like just knives or whatever. It's like a ton of bots versus a few humans.
Seems cool. Neat. Seems neat. Let's move on because we're already like an hour and a half into this. We still have things to talk about, guys. News. Let's talk about a few things in news world before we get to films, which we have a lot to talk about there. It's important. Most importantly, I guess most importantly,
I wouldn't say this is most important.
Relaunching G4 for some reason on November 16th of this year.
Yeah, no, they back. I was watching some of their stuff.
Or relaunched.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I watched some of their stuff. It's weird because it seems like the niche that was G4 and talking about gaming and all of that got filled a lot by YouTubers.
And so podcasters.
And so a lot of the stuff that I was watching, because they're like, oh yeah, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, or all these other places, and I was watching some of it, I was like, this is just the shit that I already watch. There's nothing better about that. There's nothing, just because they're on cable, if they've got like more money and more production or something like that, it just feels exactly the same as everything else. So I was like, well, I'm glad that you're here because I did like your content, but also welcome to the noise of everything else on YouTube. And so that was kind of meh.
Are they on like actual TV?
Yeah, they're on actual cable, but I think the stuff that's on actual cable is just the stuff that they're streaming on Twitch and putting up on YouTube. So I don't know why you'd pay for it.
It's a weird decision to relaunch this, but I mean,
like they had a lot of names. Like they did have a lot of names of people that were in the shows and things like that are I would feel like are respected. I mean, shit, it's birthplace of Olivia Munn, but like,
yeah.
Right.
It just seems like a very odd thing of just being like, you're back, but you're not doing anything different than what everyone else is doing. You're reviewing games, you're doing in-depth kind of walkthroughs, you're talking about whatever the news is of the week, like we do. It's just kind of like a market that already exists that everyone else has been doing because of the the vortex that they created when they weren't there. And so now back doing it again, it's just like, all right, thanks for coming back, but we've moved on. We've got everyone else here.
It seems weird. Like they have some interesting things they're looking at doing too. Like they have an esports comedy they're going to do. They have a D&D limited series where they're going to bring on like celebrity guests to play.
Yeah.
They're also going to start hosting Ninja Warrior for some reason. That's the network it's going to be on now.
Why not?
They're like, I feel like they were just like, all right, what can we possibly fill slots with to make
Wasn't-
sure that we have all this
Wasn't like
content.
the death spiral of G4? Weren't they just playing Ninja Warrior 24/7 back in the day?
I mean, probably
Yeah, I
Like
don't
that's
know.
what happened before.
weird. I don't know. Maybe it'll be something cool. But I think Owen's right. I think that spot's kind of already filled, so it's going to be weird for them to try and make it.
It's like
In this
trying to
climate.
start a video game magazine right now.
Yeah, it's like I don't know why you do it.
Yeah.
Speaking of things of I don't know
Like
why
trying to
you
start a
do it.
podcast.
Yeah, no
Ah.
kidding. Hey, we did this 6 years ago, guys. It's
Yeah,
okay.
we were on time.
Yeah,
We were struck while the iron was hot. Now we're big.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I don't know why you do it. Ed Sheeran, our boy Eddie, is going to do a concert in Pokemon Go.
But why?
Oh,
I
I
have
mean,
a lot of
I guess he was on
questions.
Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah, he's in
Yeah.
Red Notice. You know, that's his.
Which-
he just dropped an album.
Which
Um,
in Red Nose wasn't his quote, "Hey, I'm in Game of Thrones."
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe I didn't actually watch Red Notice. But yeah, it just was kind of like I saw that as a news pop up, and I was just kind of like, why is Ed Sheeran coming to Pokemon Go? And like, it seems like I understand that Pokemon has been trying to get hip with all of the music in creators because they did like that song with Katy Perry, and they did the concert last year with Post Malone. It just seems weird of just being like, so they also haven't really said much about it other than just like Ed Sheeran's going to perform 2 songs in Pokemon Go, and it seems like it's going to happen over a week. So is it just going to be like a thing that at any point in time I can press a button and Ed Sheeran's little avatar is going to pop up on my screen and like serenade me while I'm walking around town catching Pokemon? It just seems kind of odd, but I'm almost kind of intrigued of how the thing that I hope it would be very cool is if they bring the VR aspect into it and I can just like point my phone somewhere and Ed Sheeran can be like hanging out in my living room performing the songs.
put him
That
on
would
your
Oh, that's
shelf.
for sure what it's got to be, right? That's,
Yeah.
that's totally what's going to be.
Yeah.
But if he's just like hanging out in the overworld, or just like you just hear his music in the background or whatever, and you just like see his
No.
avatar pop up,
It's-
I'd be very disappointed.
They saw Fortnite concerts and they're like, we can do that.
I was just about to say
Yeah.
this is the
Yeah.
Fortnite of the mobile apps, but then I was like, wait a second, Fortnite is on mobile.
Yeah, I mean, you know, because they had what Ariana Grande and that one guy that's currently in a lawsuit. Am I
It's
wrong?
currently in a
Am I
lawsuit.
wrong?
Marshmallow, Travis Scott, Ariana Grande.
Travis
yeah.
Scott, right?
Yeah, Travis Scott is the one that is currently in a lawsuit for $750 million after
he
his
really?
fiasco at Astroworld.
Yeah, because of
Holy crap.
Astroworld. How many people died there? Like 8?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, 8 people died. A bunch of people went to the
All he
hospital.
needed
It
to
was
do
a
was
bad,
stop the
bad
concert.
thing. Nah, man, I gotta make the ground shake and fuck the cops and flick off the goddamn ambulance while I'm gonna just
Uh-huh,
let people
uh-huh.
die.
This
What
is
a
why I
dude.
like sit down concerts.
Because you're not gonna get
Wow.
trampled.
Yeah, everybody has their own space.
I once told a bartender I like quiet bars.
I also
judged
like
me
quiet
hard.
bars.
He was like, go home. Go home. That's where your quiet bar is.
I like quiet bars too.
I like quiet bars.
We should probably talk about an update. Two updates, really. One that goes to a 1.0 of a game and one that's an actual update to a newly released
Yeah.
game.
So Gunfire Reborn is released. It's out. You can get it
Oh.
now.
Yeah, I saw
How
that
long has
today.
that been in early access?
I don't know. A little bit.
Probably like a
That's been a
year.
while. Yeah.
Okay. Not as long as I thought. I was
Um,
thinking multiple years.
I do believe it's still on sale, but the price is going to go up. So if you want to grab it, I think it's $15 right now.
Yeah.
If you want to go grab it for $15, it's a really, really cool looter shooter roguelike.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Looks like a year and a half is how long it's been
Okay.
in early access.
Cool game.
Yeah, it looks like their special promotion ends December 1st, so you got a couple weeks.
There's
Yep.
2 new characters I haven't even played in that, so I have to play some of that sometime.
Mhm.
We gotta jam out on that. New World. I'll give you a quick overview of the update that happened. You can now run 10% faster on roads. Trading posts are no longer isolated to each town; they are just linked now because
Oh.
go figure, it was a terrible system. People chose a hub, kind of like Ogrimmar and Stormwind, and WoW, and then they just all bought and sold there. And then Because they all bought and sold there, those companies who owned those towns profited, while companies on the outskirts did not profit at all.
I guess that makes sense.
Yep. I was wondering if that was going to happen.
Yeah. So what are some other things? There's a Void Gauntlet now, which you can. There's one of the skills on there, which I think is really cool. Where
They already added a new weapon?
Yeah.
That's cool. That was quick.
It's really cool because Stray Kid there is our healer and was complaining constantly about how there was not a second support weapon. Basically, when you go life staff, you need to use like a hammer, an axe. You basically need to branch over into like other weapons that have no support value at all. And this one is actually another support item, so it's a double heal. So, and Alex, you actually heal, so you know this. So it's Life Staff and Void Gauntlet, both of them heal.
Are they both focus based?
So you can go focus or intelligence on the Void Gauntlet. You could either go attack or healing. One of the one that I think is really cool is where you hit a button and it turns into the Chaos Blade from Halo, or the Energy Blade from Halo.
Energy sword.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's cool.
So it's like it turns into a melee weapon for however long that lasts. It's not very long, but it's still kind of cool that it just like boom out of your hand and then you just start milling. They did a bunch of general like tweaks to the weapons. Of course, I'm not going to go over all that. They made PvP missions differ. So instead of you literally picking up one to kill something, picking up one to gather something and deliver it, and then picking up one to it's like another fetch quest, and they're all in the same area. Now you have to like kill the enemies, go take over a fort and protect it. Just stuff like that, to where it kind of branches out and makes PvP content a little bit more. PvP
Sounds like
also,
it makes PvP content actually PvP.
Yeah, PvP.
Yikes.
Striking yourself into PvP will give you what is it? I think it's 10% luck. Yeah,
20% skill,
10% luck, and 30%.
Bless you.
Wow.
That was a good one.
So it adds 10% bonus luck, and it also adds 30% gathering luck. So if you're like going out to farm a node or hit a tree to get materials, you now have a 30% chance to gather higher tier items. And that's only when you flag up for PvP. So it's actually an incentive to go PvP. The first portion, the 10% luck bonus, that's really good for watermarking, which really quickly, watermarking is basically you start off at 500 once you hit level 60, your score, 500. You pick up boots that are like 505. Now you can get something that's 510. You pick up boots, get 510, and then you move on to being able to get a 515 boot, et cetera, et cetera. That happens in every single one of your slots and weapons. And so you're basically just grinding for the rest of the late game, trying to get to 600 gear score. Having the 10% luck bonus will allow for that grind to be a little less grindy, because then you can mix in with your luck gear, because you find gear that has luck chance on it as well. And then, you can basically go off and get your watermark faster.
Probably a smart decision.
Other than that, I don't think there's general bug fixes and outpost rushes there and all sorts of stuff like that. But I think the two major things that I kind of laugh at, but then also like that it's in there, is the trading post being everywhere. So if you own, like if you're a faction that owns an outskirt town, you go buy and sell there and to help out your faction. And then the 10% faster on roads. I think that's kind of cool.
Cool. Does this game feel like incredibly stable at this point? I feel like everything you talk about it at this point is like we don't really have a lot of issues. I remember there being like multiple things in the beginning that were problems.
Actually, I just looked at a meme on the Reddit post that said days that have gone past since duping, and then it had 0. So it's like,
oh gosh, okay.
For some reason, there's this constant. There's a bunch of stuff happening in that game. It's stable-ish.
Yeah.
It's getting there. It's getting there.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it will. It will eventually get there. That's cool. Let's wrap things up and talk a little bit about some film-related things. There's multiple things in here to talk about, but I figure first and foremost, we can talk about some movie-related items that we have not touched base on yet.
Yeah.
Owen, I'm pretty sure you're going to be the only one here who has watched Eternals.
Hey, it's a Marvel movie. Unfortunately, that gets in the way of it being an actually good movie. Like, they
I heard
get
it was
so
bad.
close of it being a good movie, and you're like, wow, this is actually really interesting. You've done such an interesting job, like building your villain, building your character, building the conflict, that's happening. But unfortunately, because it's Marvel, we gotta pause all of that, and you gotta see this dude shoot laser beams out of his eyes for the next 5 minutes.
Oh, you mean Superman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Alright,
yeah, and it's like, oh well, there's these other Eternals, and they also have powers, and some of them we haven't seen on screen, seem kind of interesting, but fuck that, we got to see Superman fight again,
right.
And so that just kind of that was not exactly a great thing, because it did feel like there is a lot of good there, and it was very interesting, and I was very happy with, like, wow, the representation of a lot of the characters. Like, there's a deaf person, and so seeing like a superhero that is disabled and kicking ass, I was like, this is really fucking cool. Like, someone's gonna look up to this, and like, this is really kind of like, this is an awesome thing. It just kind of sucks that it seems like Marvel itself got in its own way, and it was just like, no, we've got to make sure that there's a fight scene every 20 minutes. We have to make sure that Kit Harington is here. Did we tell you that Kit Harington is here? Because Kit Harington is here. You gotta know.
Wait, Kit's in the movie?
Yeah. Because he's the Dark Knight or whatever, and we gotta remind you that he's here. We're not gonna tell you what his character is yet, or give him powers or anything, but we gotta tell you he's here for later. Just so you know, he's here.
It's MCU stuff, dude.
It's weird that
Gotta
this
set it up.
wasn't as like, it didn't deliver as well, especially on the heels of Shang-Chi, because I thought that movie was stellar.
I went back and watched Shang-Chi to rinse out the taste of Eternals.
Wow.
Shang-Chi is super good.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I have not seen Eternals,
Yeah.
but somehow stumbled across the end credit scene.
Yeah.
What the
How
heck?
much was that a spoiler?
Not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, like the end credit scene thing happens, and you're just kind of like, this is neat. Like, it really doesn't explain a lot of anything that happens in the story, which is, I think, honestly perfect. Like, if you're gonna set up a character for the next installment of Eternals, or for a spin-off movie or whatever that's gonna connect this to whatever, the end credits or the last couple of minutes of a movie is perfect. And I think they did that great with with Shang-Chi. Because Shang-Chi, the only time it ever connects out to the MCU is like with Wong, and when they're inside of the fight ring, and nothing in the fight ring is plot related. Like, like, it's just kind of like in the background, you're like, hey, is that a widow versus someone who's extremis? Wait, is that Abomination? And so we're like, okay, cool. Like, you don't really need to know much. It's just there. And then at the end, Wong shows up, and he's just like, hey, you guys are with us now. Yeah. Perfect. Like, you have connected it to the broader MCU. You've set stuff up, and it didn't take away from the story itself. Right. Whereas, like, they keep shoving Kit Harington in your face of just being like, he's here.
Wait, he's in the movie?
Yeah, we gotta remind you that Kit Harington is here, and he keeps alluding to his dark past and his mysterious family lineage. Do you think it's something? Guys?
Is that just alluding to his role in Game of Thrones? Dark past, mysterious family heritage.
Yeah, he's got to pick up a sword, and he doesn't want to because there's a curse on it, and he's gonna have to kill vampires. Woo! Fucking hell. It sucks, because it seemed like it was such a good idea on paper, and it was such a, like, I was like, wow, there's a lot of parts of this movie that I really love and just blow away most of the MCU. It just sucks that you're held back by having to do what all of the other movies in the MCU do.
Alex made a point the other day when we were talking about this, and he said that they pulled a Justice League because they took all of these new characters and they didn't really do any, or it sounds like they didn't do any character development on most of them, and they just shove them in this giant battle where you have all these new people with all these new powers and you don't really get to know them or feel for them. And then it's just kind of like it falls flat because it doesn't have as much weight.
When the conflict itself in the movie, the driving conflict of the movie is this, the conflict of the group, is interpersonal conflict within the group.
Yeah.
You'd think you'd spend more time developing the relationships with the group. And there are some characters that have full-blown arcs, and you're like, okay, I understand them. Their interactions are really cool. You get why they're there. You get what they're doing. Like, they did a good job with them. But you've got so many that it's inevitable that you just leave some on the sidelines. And then you're just like, oh, but this character was just hiding in a ship for apparently the past 1,000 years, and no one wants to explain that. No one wants to talk about it. No one wants to build that character at all, or their relationship, or how they fit in with the rest of the group dynamic. They're just there. They just show back up, and they're like, "Hey, I existed," and you're like, "Cool. I guess that's how we're doing this."
Excellent, wonderful.
Yeah,
But we at least have some background for Kit Harington.
He's in the movie.
yeah. Kit Harington and
Holy
Harry
crap.
Styles.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The other movie that came out that we should talk about, though, probably more importantly, is Dune. Because, it's Denis Villeneuve, and pretty much nobody does
Did we
cinematography
not
better.
Have this on the podcast already?
Did we?
Why don't we
I
talk?
put it there because
I
I
feel
don't think that we did, but I just wanted to make sure that we talked about it.
I feel like we watched it so long ago.
Well, because we were off for that 1 week, and so we haven't been podcasting.
It's been a
for like
hot
a month.
second.
Yeah, I don't think we talked about it. I
haven't
think
talked about it.
I think I watched the movie and then I left. And you guys didn't do a podcast the week I was gone, right? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you didn't.
We only talked about it being leaked. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, we only talked about it being leaked. We didn't actually talk about
Yeah, we
it.
watched it
Oh,
just
that's
after the
what
last
it was.
podcast. Weird.
Guys, we talked about it being leaked. That's what I talked about.
All right, Owen, what's your opinion on Dune? So I can tell you
Oh,
you're
boy.
wrong.
It's fine.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Get him.
It is a gorgeous fucking movie. I absolutely adore little Timmy. This is the best rendition that we've gotten of Frank Herbert's work, and I love seeing it on the big screen. Absolutely fantastic. Part 2 is going to be awesome, I'm sure.
When it comes out in like 4 years.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're still dealing with the problems of Frank Herbert's Dune.
Oh.
That's just the inevitable of remaking something from 50 years ago. You're gonna have some issues with that because you're sticking close to your source material, which on the one hand is great. Good job. You're sticking to the source material. You're remaking it well. But hey, there was problems with that story from 50 years ago. Oh well.
Dune's awesome. What a great movie. I was happy the entire time I was watching that movie.
It's pretty good.
It's visually stunning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh god. Yeah.
Does it
real
make
good
you
visually.
feel like you're Spider-Man?
Like Dune.
I have never wanted to visit the desert more than after watching this movie.
I'm all right.
I was like, man, that looks so beautiful. I want to hang out in a desert. That looks fucking awesome. I want to get fucking high on some shit and, use my voice.
I think probably one of the interesting things I
That
think
could be
about
arranged.
Dune, Zendaya was paid $45,000 a minute for her role in the first Dune.
Heck yeah.
Excuse
Well,
me?
she's only there for
Nice.
5 minutes,
She was-
so
Yeah, she was on screen for 7 minutes, and she was paid like $320,000 for her.
What? Wasn't she
And-
like the flag poster almost?
She-
for it?
yeah,
She's
yeah.
all over it. And Timothy Chalamet was paid $2 million for his role in the movie, and he's like in it the entire duration of the movie. I just find it really funny.
I don't get how you gonna show that as like a part. Like she's in the movie, and then just 7 minutes.
I mean,
Yeah,
she
out of how
her
long?
her character plays a major role in the book, and will play a major role in the second movie.
yep.
Mhm.
But specifically where they chose to stop this, like they're just there's not a lot of interaction with her character.
Her entire character for this movie is pretty much she's just a perfume person. Every time you see her, it's like you're expecting it to go black and white and be like Christian Dior only from Armani. Like, you're just waiting for that because that's all it fucking looks like, which is, again, beautiful. But you're like, why is all of a sudden this is like Kate is dreaming up perfume ads, and then she shows up at the end for like a couple minutes, and you're like, oh, you're actually like a character and kind of interesting. Cool.
And you said Kit Harington's not in this movie.
Yeah, Kit Harington's not in this movie.
The other thing
like
I think. Oh, go ahead.
I feel like the theater experience was lacking a little, in that I could only understand about 2/3 of the dialogue that was spoken in the movie.
The audio mix
Interesting.
of this movie was garbage.
I don't think the audio mix is good at all.
Yeah.
You said by going to the
Interesting.
theater or just in general?
The theater. I don't know. I haven't watched it.
I've watched
not.
it in theater and at home, and the only reason why at home is a better mix is because you can put on subtitles and hear the fucking whispering.
Yeah.
Caleb, are you sure you didn't have Kit Harington sitting next to you with popcorn?
Pretty sure.
Doesn't like
I don't
him.
remember him being there.
Yeah, like I appreciated the whispering stuff because it makes more sense that the characters would whisper some of those lines. But if you're gonna do that, boost it so people can fucking hear what they're saying, because you lost a lot of very important context and very important lines from the book and from the series, like just whispered away. You're just like, wait, what is he saying in the tent? Where's like the mom like just like mutters the like her mantra of, you know, like, fear is the mind killer, I will not fear, and all of that, and you're just like, this is very important to the book and to the franchise. And yeah, the character would mutter that, but like, turn up the volume a little so y'all can fucking hear it.
It was nice every time Batista was on screen because I was like, oh, I know I'm going to be able to hear what he's saying.
Because he just screams and it's great.
Yeah.
Same thing with fucking
Momoa.
Yeah, Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Again, every time he's on screen, you're like, his voice is so booming, you know you're gonna hear whatever the fuck is about to happen. Also, I really appreciate the fact that we had naked Oscar Isaac for several minutes. Did we need that? No. But I'm so glad that we got it. I'm just like, thank you. I love this.
Wow, dude.
I just want his hair. He has excellent hair.
He's got such great hair, and he's got, like, he has the perfect definition of a dad bod in this movie, and I was like, I hope I look like him when I'm, like, 20 years older.
So, am I led to believe that Owen is actually a closet weeb and bi?
I'm just saying, is if we can male gaze the shit out of characters in movies, I'm so glad to see the female gaze is applied here. Because, like, we don't need little Timmy waking up in his six-pack abs, but we got little Timmy Chalamet in his six-pack abs. Good for us.
I like the part where Oscar Isaac's like, when I was growing up, I wanted to be a pilot. I thought that's very funny.
And then he gets to see a pilot later. He's just, like, flying around. I'm just like, so what stopped you, Brent?
And also, Duncan, Idaho is a really stupid name.
I watched it with Allison, and literally that's the one thing that she kept coming back to. She was just like, so you're telling me that the name of this planet is what? And I was like, Arrakis. And she's like, okay, so like weird. And I was like, I guess it's kind of weird. And that guy's name is Duncan fucking Idaho.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Oh,
It's
no.
like just so bizarre.
All right, last two things
Speaking
in
of
film
bizarre,
world. Yeah, let's talk bizarre things. Who wants to go first here? Alex, you want to
way
go
more
because it's
bizarre.
real
I'll go.
bizarre?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about the real bizarre.
The
I
heck.
So I watched Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, which I'd actually seen in the past, but I didn't really remember, so I rewatched it. And then the main goal was to be able to watch Fate Stay Night Heaven's Feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is
Sure.
two parts of the Fate series in the anime world. Unlimited Blade Works is like these are both based off of a visual novel. They're two different routes of the visual novel. Heaven's Feel is a set of 3 movies that came out more recently that cover a different route from the show Unlimited Blade Works. I watched Unlimited Blade Works. I was like, all right, I would call this show good, right?
How
It's-
is Wesley Snipes in this?
Get out. So I watched the show. I'd be like, all right, the visuals are absolutely phenomenal. It's Ufotable, so that's to be expected. I feel like they had a little bit of some pacing issues in the show, but overall, I would call it a show good. Good characters, plot was cool, stuff like that. And then I watched Heaven's Feel, and I was like blown away by how good Heaven's Feel is.
Good. Okay.
And it's mostly because it's like such a unique experience. I've never had anything quite like this in watching like a show or movie or anything like that, because it is the story, it is the same story, like the same time period, same characters, except for it's like a wildly different plot. Because I guess that's like sometimes how visual novels work. Where it's just completely different. Like you make one different decision early on and the whole plot changes.
Sure.
So it was just so strange to me seeing this world, and it's not like it's a sequel where I'm seeing the characters that have experienced the plot that I've already seen, and they're doing something different now. It's like all the plot elements that I saw before, I have in the back of my mind, but those didn't necessarily happen in this universe, and they're doing something different now. And it's so crazy because like there's certain characters in the show that are just completely throwaway. Like you see them twice and they don't matter to the plot at all, and then all of a sudden in Heaven's Feel they're like the most pivotal person in the entire plot. Like it completely makes the story like based around that character. And like there's new characters added, there's characters that like there's some characters that die in the first couple episodes of the show that are in like the final battle of the movies and stuff like that. It's so completely different. It's so cool. And also like they completely assume that you've watched the show before you watch this movie, because they just like they straight skip like so many explanations of things that they already explained in a show. There's like a 3-second montage in the beginning of the first movie that covers like the first 2 episodes of the show, and it's just like, you know what happens. Like he summons Saber and there's like a fight at the school and he gets knocked out and somebody heals him. Like, you know that's from the beginning of the thing that happens, and now it's going to be different. It's like, and there's like a really cool major reveal that happens towards the end of the show that is basically, it's not super relevant to the story of Heaven's Feel, but without you knowing that reveal from the show, there's a lot of context that you would not understand in the movie of why things happen the way they happen and why certain characters act the way they do. It's a really cool experience. I don't know. And also like the movies are like some of the most gorgeous movies I've ever seen. So really a lot of fun.
Setting us back like a lot. What genre is this?
It's like I don't know what genre you call it. There's fighting in it. Like the
fighting genre. Okay.
Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't call it a shonen. It's not an isekai. Like it's an anime where
it's an anime. Okay, that narrows it down. Yeah, for sure.
They like the core plot is that there's the Holy Grail War where once every so often there will be 10 masters that are, or 7 masters, some amount of masters that summon these servants that are like heroic figures from history that fight for them in the war, and then the last man standing gets control of the Holy Grail, which will grant any wish.
Okay.
Like Kit Harington being beside you eating popcorn?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of like a death game show, maybe?
I guess, yeah. There's like a lot of like, do we go after the master or the servant? Like, because if you take the servant out, the master can't really do anything. But also the master is weaker, but they'll be in more defensible position, etc., etc.
So it's basically like Mirai Nikki is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I've never seen that one.
Oh, man, well, that joke doesn't go very well. It's kind of a trashy death game anime. It was supposed to be a joke. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We'll get it next time. We'll come back to it.
But it's really cool because, like, there's even different, like, masters that are chosen in the second route from the original story. So, and I think the visual novel has 3 routes. I didn't look up if there was, like, an animated version of the 3rd route.
Is it Fate Zero? Because that's the only one I've seen of the Fate series.
0 might be it. I know there's another Fate Stay Night show that people do not speak very highly of, made by Studio Dean, that I think follows the same storyline as the show that I watched here. Unlimited Blade Works. I don't know. Really cool experience. Highly recommended.
What kind of a name is Unlimited Blade Works?
Confusing one.
Both of the names are actually explained.
Is it like one of those
Surprisingly.
moments where they go, there's like a whole bunch of swords, and he's like, wow, look at all these unlimited blade works.
Yes,
And they
kind
like
of.
wink at the camera.
They do one of the characters says the name of the thing.
Oh my god. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'll watch the whole thing just for that.
All right, last but not least, let's talk about Arcane.
Yeah,
Arcane,
so Arcane is the new League of Legends anime that's releasing right now.
Is
Made
it
by
more
Riot and
or less
Fatish.
fun than playing League of Legends?
So
It's
much more
way
fun.
more fun
It-
than playing
Way
League
more
of
fun.
It
Good.
actually makes
Yeah.
me want to play League. I'm not gonna lie.
Wow. Look at that.
It is really, really good. The animation quality is stellar. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty.
It's such a unique look and feel for a
Yeah.
show.
You want to know how I know it's good? I was at
Kid
Cairo.
Harington's in it.
No, well,
I
I would make it
don't know.
1,000 times better. I was at Cairo, and the doctors were like, "Yo, you seen that new that Arcane?" And dude's like, "Yeah, I have. Really good. What is it from?" And then the guy's like, "Oh, it's from League of Legends." And I'm like, "Okay, so people are definitely seeing this, and they're like, not even know it's from League of Legends." And like, I guess you don't need to in that. Like, you don't need to
don't
know
think you
anything
need-
about League of Legends.
I don't think you do, no. I think you can gain stuff by knowing stuff about League, but I don't think it's necessary at all.
Do you think
For
you need
watching
to
it.
know, like, do you think the Dota Dragon's Blood thing is similar? Do you need to know about Dota to watch that?
No, but
Probably
at the
not.
same time, I feel I said this already, like off podcast, but I feel like League just knows how to grab the casual general audience, and Dota just keeps falling under that. It's the hardcore scene constantly. Because I don't know anybody who talked about the Dota, but
Right.
No.
there's these doctors at my Cairo that were just like, "Yo, League of Legends." Like,
So far, 6 of 9 episodes are out, I think.
I think it helps
And-
that it doesn't look like a traditional anime for like the
Yeah.
casual crowd.
That is true.
It's very unique looking.
So like anybody that would watch like a Pixar movie would be fine watching this. Like
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's that,
Yep.
different style, Western style of animation, I guess I could say. I've only seen the first 3 episodes, but I was very, very impressed.
Yeah, it's really good. The music is amazing. Their music
you're
is
gonna
always
be
good.
even more impressed by the next 3.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah,
Mic
you are.
drop.
And I have
Very-
no frame of reference for League watching it. So it was like somebody would say like finally they reveal what their name is in the show, and I'd be like, oh, well, that's a League character. So then I'd have to look them up and see like what they're about. And it's like, oh, this guy like wields a hex tech hammer. I guess hex tech's the thing. And then like later in the show he's like, yeah, I'm inventing hex tech. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure.
Got
That's
it.
League stuff.
I get it. I understood that reference.
Yeah, I think the first 3 are very good ground floor setting up the story, and then the next 3 kind of kick off that action,
Yeah.
and it's
For
like,
sure.
this is getting good. And so
Mhm.
the next 3, I'm pretty hyped about the next 3.
I don't know how they're going to wrap it up in the next
It's-
3. I feel like there's going to be more.
Yeah,
I have just one last question. Caleb, you've watched all of it, right?
All that's currently out. Yeah.
All that's currently out. Is the donger in it?
Yeah. Darn.
Yes! My boy! That's all I
So-
care about. Literally all I want.
do you think they're gonna do Army of the Dead, and they're just gonna release same year Army of Thieves? So they got Arcane right now, and then they're just gonna release the second season like ASAP.
There's no way they won't make more, but I don't know what it's
I
going
feel
to
like
be.
it'll
guess.
take them a while.
It might, yeah.
I feel like the production value is too high.
Oh, what you
for them
saying?
to-
Army of
to
Dead,
pump
and
it
Army
out.
of Thieves
They're-
has low production, Alex.
I
Riot's-
mean, nothing
Riot's
against them,
production
but
value is always super high in all the stuff that they do.
It's true.
I'm baffled that Army of Thieves is already out. Like,
Hey,
how?
Army of Thieves.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Is fine.
All right, so we're wrapping up the podcast, right?
Yeah, it's fine if you liked Army
That is
of the
my-
Dead. Watch it. If not,
Man.
don't
I
bother.
walked into this.
every movie review
Yeah.
from Owen.
It's
Oh,
fine.
man.
It's fine.
Look, there hasn't been anything that's been good, but there hasn't been anything that was like fucking awful. I watched The Green Knight. That was bad. Don't watch that movie.
Oh
Hey.
my goodness!
I like
Oh,
The
and I'm
Green
going to
Knight.
send you the list from our cultural appreciation nights. You can just start going down the list. If you find any of the movies in the first 4, you say they're fine, I might have to kick you off the podcast.
It's okay. He's gonna love Tony Erdmann.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, please, no one go watch Tony Erdmann. Anyways, that's going to be the last of it for the podcast. If you are hanging around with us, I think we're going to come back and play something. I don't know what.
Halo, I believe.
Halo.
Halo.
We're doing
All right.
BTB on Halo Infinite.
Big team battle on Halo Infinite, so make sure you hang around and check that. Anyways, thanks so much for joining us, and we will catch you next time.